Hello. Everything I own has decided to fight me today, and I'm losing it. My headphones aren't even right now. What is going on? Hi! Hi, I'm Squiiji, freelance artist fun guy, art educator, and today I'm suffering! I don't know what's going on. I am hearing my voice coming from somewhere else in my room right now, so I don't know what's going on. My headphones are not connected properly, so I can't hear anything. Hang on. Everything is wrong. What happened? I got cursed today. Hang on, I will be with you in 1 second. I thought I had everything solved here, but no. No, that'd be too easy. Here we go. Okay, wait. That there, this here, this there. Sounds like your speakers are catching your audio. I don't use speakers, though. I have headphones. So that shouldn't be doing anything. And I'm, stuttering, too. How peculiar. But hi. Hello. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for bearing with me. I could not get my account to switch back over from second Squiiji to regular Squiiji. Also, wait, how loud is the background music right now? Oh, there's no background music. There we go. Now there's background music. Everything is funny and silly and strange. I had tech trouble Thursday. I haven't had a really bad tech trouble day in a while. So, on top of the tech troubling that's happening, one good thing came out of it, which is that finally, the ASMR reading video that I recorded 2.5 months ago is finally premiering, uploading today. I finally got it to work, and I was going to have it so that my YouTube would redirect to it, but I still can't redirect on YouTube, so I guess I can't do that anyway. So, never mind. I'll just give you all the link if you want to go watch it, I guess, at the end. Audio does sound weird? Uh-oh. Oh, wait, I'm just loud. I'm just loud, aren't I? Hang on. Whoop. Come down a little bit. E.G., you're a little too loud. There we go. Is that better? I think that's probably better. Now I should be less weird, but if I'm still weird... Let's see. Expression. Yeah, I've got all my things on. I shouldn't be too weird. Way too quiet. Oh, really? Way too quiet? Is this better? You're not hearing any music. Oh, God. What is happening? You were good before? Oh, was I? I was peaking a good bit. At least that's what it looked like on my end, which is so strange. Audio sounds flat. I do hear music. Yeah, this isn't eerie background music. A little bit loud before. Okay, so is this better now? I've Goldilocks it. Moved it down a little bit. Okay, some people hear music. Yeah, the music should be very quiet. The music should be not loud at all. Fine to me. Okay. I have to put on headphones to hear it. I can give it a little more. There. Good vocals, low BGM. BGM should be pretty low anyway. Shouldn't be any lower than usual, but let's try that. Let's see if that's better. As I said, everything for something reason is strange. Still sounds like inside a closet and cuts out. Really? Am I sounding that way on Twitch also? Am I flat and cutting out? Or is this a couple of people who are having trouble maybe? No? Fine on Twitch? Not cutting out at all. Okay. I wonder if YouTube is having more problems! I'm losing my mind. I can't take this anymore. Eating a burger with no honey mustard. Eating a burger with no honey mustard. Eating a burger with no honey mustard. I can't take this anymore. Oh, sounds good for my end? Okay, maybe it might be a couple people who are having, bitrate troubles, maybe, but okay. Has cut out? No! Okay, we're gonna try and get started and pretend like nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong at all. Nothing can touch me. I'm just a fun little guy who's hanging out and is going to look at Limbus Company designs. That is the whole reason I'm here today. And we are looking at the EGOS specifically today, of course. Squiiji versus YouTube, who would win? Clearly not me. Clearly never me, actually. It took me 2.5 months to get an ASMR video to even post. Do you want to know why it wouldn't post? Hang on, I gotta get on my step stool, because I'm short. Hang on, there's a bunch of things I gotta do, but... You want to know why it wouldn't post? Can I tell you why the ASMR video wouldn't post? Can I tell you? Please come here. I want to tell you. It wouldn't post because, first off, it content claimed me as myself. It alerted my main account that there may be somebody trying to impersonate me. It's not somebody impersonating me, it's me. I'm the one impersonating me. It's myself. I am the owner of that other channel, so I don't know why it thought that. Second, I have like background video in it. Oh wait, I'm way too tall now, hang on. Second, I have just like some B-roll playing in the background of it for just like visual interest. And for some reason, one of the videos in that B-roll, I guess is just not acceptable, even though it was from it's stock footage. I paid to use it, but apparently I can't. Apparently someone else's channel pretends they own it. So I took that out, pretty much just remade the entire video for it, and now it's gonna upload. Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. Only I would have this happen, and it took me so long to isolate the video that it was, because it was overlapping with other things that I thought was the issue. So it was very peculiar. Heard people having trouble with copyright claims like that? Yeah! I never have had trouble with copyright claims ever before. Red Vox claimed a background song in one of my videos, which is peculiar because the whole bit is that Vinny does not want any of that music claiming. It should all be DCMA safe, so I don't know what's up with that, but I don't really care. If the Pizza Pasta Man gets a little bit of my cash money, the 30 cents I make on a stream, I don't care, that's whatever. But come on. Come on. So that worked. So if you guys are interested, when we raid out tonight, we'll go over to that, theoretically, by giving you links. And you can watch the amount of time that I spent on an ASMR video. It's of a topic that you guys might find interesting. I don't know if anyone knows the short story, The Demon of the Flower. That's what it is. So we'll go over there after, and you can see all the work I put into it. It's got a cute little PNG tuber for doing the reading. It's got some background music that's like ambient background music that I made. I made it. I made the background music. And I did everything for it, including the art and the B-roll and everything. So I am proud of it. It's not the best I've ever made, but it exists. So we'll go do that at the end. Anyways, for today, we had some resubscribes. DJ E.G? Yeah, we can. That's me scrubbing the discs like a DJ, right? No copyright claims that make your own music. Exactly, that was my point. I know the tactic to make ambient background music is just have a bunch of really long notes that sort of oscillate a bit. I'm not a composer. I am not somebody who's good at writing music. But that's okay. It's fine enough. It's not bad by any means. So, Incinda, welcome back for 14 months! 14 months is an insane quantity of time. I have to make the 1.5 years, I think it is, Shroomate icon soon. But welcome back, Incinda! And Logang, thank you for subscribing for 9 months too! Welcome back! Or for 10 months, actually, rather. Congrats on continuing our rotation for almost a year, which is crazy. Gary didn't speak? Gary, were you supposed to speak? Did somebody have you talk? Oh, Incinda had you talk. Gary, you didn't even try. Huh? I'll make him do it again. He didn't even beep that time. I wonder what that was about. Let's see. Let's see. Gary, try again. Better luck next time. Funny Shroom musical journey starts. Maybe I just become, I give up on being a VTuber and just make ambient background music to study to. Let's see. Does he work now? I refreshed the thing. Let's see. I'll copy pasty. What?
Happy 15 months of affiliate.
Thanks! Thank you, Gary! Thank you, Incinda! It's Mythic. I changed my Discord name. Oh! I see! Didn't add the space associated with the low gang unintentionally. Hey, guess what? I can, like, physically give you a nickname, I've learned. I can't do it through my current overlay, but I can forcibly give you a nickname, which is what I did to Manzana. So that I knew that's who it was. So if you want to be, Logan, I can just put you as Logan.
I love concrete and despise tech issues.
Thank you, I agree, Gary. I have been suffering. Logan, you won't be able to see me. You won't be able to see that it's been changed, but I'll be able to see that it's changed, because then it'll affect me. Yeah, Gary seems to be working now. I don't know. Everything had to fail just for a minute, unfortunately. Which, what can you do? But here, let me see if I can do it. How do I do it? I forget. There's a way do I do it. I think I click your name, and then because I haven't done it since I did it for Manzana. Oh, wait, hang on. Is it this button? Block, report? No, neither of those, actually. I don't remember how to do it. I'll do it when I remember how to do it. I'll fix it at some point, so that way I'll see. But I'll know who you are, don't worry. Just want to be art fun, but Twitch doesn't let me. That's okay. Oh no, are we doing gnomes again? I don't think this is gnomes. I don't think this is gnomes. Beep. Better luck next time. You won't get me with that one, Gary. I will not fall for your evil ploy. So, okay, wait. I will focus and I will get us started because nothing was working properly, but this song is evil that is currently in my ears. Very discordant. Amusement park music. Oh. I don't like this one. I might move on. Let's get some normal music maybe, because that is hurting my brain because it's so discordant. Gary's arm jiggle is so cute. Thank you. I'm glad you think so. He does levitate next to me. Demand more gnome. Okay, we'll get gnomed later. We'll end with gnoming maybe. Let me open my notes to see how I intend to start this. Oh, all of my folders are strange. I'll take roll also. Should play Millie songs? I don't think you get striked for them. I don't get striked for any of the songs that are happening for Limbus Company other than when there's certain ones that are voiced. But we had some snippets of them occur when I was live before, and I did not get bonked for it. They just let me have it, so I've been pretty lucky with it, so maybe we'll be okay. But, there we go, okay. I needed my disclaimer so that I remember all the things I should say to make sure that you guys don't... I don't know what you would do to me. Thankfully, Limbus Company fellows have been very nice to me. Very chaotic, but very nice to me, so I don't have to have my usual fears of swinging at hornet's nests like I do sometimes with Hoyoverse. So I appreciate you guys being pleasant with me. It's very kind, so thank you for your kindness as I try and figure out what the heck is going on in your wacky, very interesting, very deep game that you guys have. There's a lot going on with it, so I appreciate your patience as I try and figure out what in the world is happening, and every week I come back to you better understanding of it, and I hope you're proud of me. Because I have been slowly learning more about how things work, learning more about the gameplay system, learning more about the lore and all of that, so it's getting better. It's getting better over time. We like the criticism, it's all good. Thank you! Not playing the game, so they're currently not being ferocious ones, so you're lucky. Mayhaps I am lucky. Like to apologize for the brain rot in the Project Moon fanbase. Honestly, it's not that bad. I honestly find it kind of funny, and I'm amazed the miscellaneous words that I was able to say that set everybody off. It was so funny to me, because some of the words were words that I feel like are not especially common in the English vernacular, especially. Like, who says the word pallid normally in conversation? Apparently me. That's an art word, sometimes, to describe something looking sickly. But man, that did in fact set everyone off. And I was so confused, I thought I had misused the word. Yep, there it goes, as I knew would happen. Yeah, I did say ideal. I do say the word wild a lot, also. Yeah, all of those things. It's gonna happen again today, I promise, I swear, and I'm gonna be really confused. I was gonna be like, yeah, they're so common, and E.G. went uncommon. I don't feel like the word pallid is said very often, is it? Am I just out of touch with the English language? No idea what's going on? It's fair. Me either, half of the time, maybe. I'm still figuring it out. No, it's me? Oh, okay. I see. Anyways,
the
disclaimers.
Allium organization is inviting ladies and other marketable aspects to a liquid chocolate matter at -1 expense. All you need to do is, this comment has been removed due to multiple Twitch community guideline violations.
What? Hey, what? Hang on, I need to unpack that just very quickly. The Allium organization? Onion? Onion organization? What is the Onion organization? Is this an organization revolving around my funny little sprig of hair on the top of my head? What is this other new thing? Is inviting ladies and other marketable aspects. What is a marketable aspect? Do you identify, those are the two genders. This is the new gender binary. You're either a lady or you're a marketable aspect, apparently. Liquid chocolate matter at -1 expense. I'm gonna assume that means it's free. All you need to do is immediately incorrect wrong buzzer button. Oh, I see what they're doing. Thank you, Amber. I was a little confused. Chat, hit him with the guidelines. Yeah, Gary got audibly hit with guidelines. Sorry, man. It happens. W. Lane, C. Mira, thank you for following. Anyways. The thing that I was going to say before my son interrupted me with peculiar phrasing that I'm not sure I understand what his intentions were behind. Anyways. Ooh, disclaimers! I'm Squiiji. Hi. I am a character designer. I've also been teaching character design. I taught it officially at university level. And I've also been teaching it here on the YouTube and the Twitch for the last year. I've got several years under my belt of doing these things, so I tend to know a little bit at least about what's going on. I got some credentials in this category, but... Oh, it's doing the evil song again. Stop. Hang on, I can't do it. I can't do an explanation if we're doing evil songs. Go away. This is gonna be the new Get Gnomed of today. Go away. There we go. This is much better. Okay. So, as I was trying to say, I am just one fun guy's thoughts about the character design of this game. I am not the end-all be-all. You are welcome to disagree with me, and you are welcome to tell me when you disagree with me. I do read all of the comments that are left, and you guys have been very pleasant, and I've been very relieved. Because I do miss things, it's bound to happen, just based on the fact that I have not played this game myself, and as much as for the last 3 weeks I've been kind of immersing myself in it, I actually listened to some other VTubers playing the game last week. One of the girls, I think it's from Vespo? No, VSPO? Yeah, Vespo. I almost said Espa, the K-pop group. Nope, the girls from Espa are not playing this as far as I'm aware. Maybe they should. Maybe the girls from Espa should play Limbus Company. But no, one of the girls from Vespo did play it, I think. And I was listening to that in the background. VSPO. It's a VTuber organization. So I do know a little bit more now, but I am still guaranteed to miss things. I'm not going to get everything. Some of it will just go right over my head because I am not steeped in the story to that much depth. And also the fact that this game builds off of other previous games, and so many of the things within this game are self-referential of the lore of the game. Where, because I don't know the previous reference point, I don't know what they're doing in the current with it. So, thankfully, the shroommates of the VOD watching and of the commenting on my previous VODs were very helpful and gave me some really good suggestions for the egos we should look at today, because that's what we're doing. We're looking at egos, maybe primarily. I also want to maybe look at a couple of NPCs real quick, specifically ones that either relate to the egos, because some of the egos are based on other characters, or like other characters, I guess, or they're based on things from other games. And we'll be looking at the anomalies that go hand in hand with some of the egos as well, theoretically. So thank you to the fellas who provided some of the information to me as I was searching through my comments from last week. Yeah, we're going to be looking at the anomalies from Lobotomy Core, because that is where they are coming from. So I have a list of which of the egos there are and which anomaly they're based on, so that way I can hold them both in my hand at the same time and look at them together. Yeah, we'll get it. It was based on anomalies from other characters. Okay. I was saying that because some of the IDs were based on characters, that might be an ID exclusive thing. So maybe we won't have to worry about it. But we may, time depending, look at some IDs as well. I'm going to try and move kind of quick today. We're not going to spend an incredibly long amount of time on each design, because my intent today is to get a more broad view of what is going on within design for the game as well, if we can. So we'll see. What are my other disclaimers? I have other disclaimers. Oh, any grades that I give today and any day that I'm streaming are inclusive to only be compared across that game that I'm critiquing. So my Limbus Company grades are only comparable to my Limbus Company grades in the critiques, because each game and each piece of media has different criteria for what makes them successful. So it wouldn't be fair for me to compare characters from Genshin versus characters from Guilty Gear versus characters from Limbus Company, because they're all trying to do different things with varying levels of success of doing them. So we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to compare characters within this universe, theoretically. Yeah. So, oh, my rubric. I should probably open the rubric. Show you the rubric that I grade based on. Let's see. Whap. If you guys have been here the last couple weeks or at any point in time ever, man, do I look at this rubric so many times a week? And Monday, I was just, for some reason, totally failing to read it. Which is something that I've done. I've read this rubric probably... I read it like twice a week, every week, and I've been doing that for over a year now. How many times is that? That's well over 100 times I've read it at this point, right? Something like that. Yeah, rubric goes crazy. So I don't know why I'm still fumbling. I should be like a rehearsed pro at reading my own rubric, but never know what to expect from me. I always gotta keep you on your toes. Let's see, let's go here. You read something enough, it becomes nonsense? Low-key, I feel like that may be what's happening. Because I feel like I've read it so many times that in my brain, I just assume that I've already told you this today. And maybe I have not. It's hard for me to know. Also, why am I so far over right now? I'm like, it looks like I'm sitting. Hang on. Yep, that's what the problem is. Hang on. Problem solved. Wait. Bam. There we go. Normalize your EGs. Don't forget to normalize your EGs, fellas. There we go. So, here is our rubric, combined with our lovely rubric-chan. I designed this one. This was my rubric-chan. This is the personification of my rubric, which we're probably going to open up to more rubric-chan designs soon, because we've gone through all of them at this point, which is crazy. So, we should design more rubric-chans. Oh, oof, ouchie. Oh, I'll take roll when I'm done doing this also. I forgot roll. We're gonna do another thing also, but yeah. This was my rubric-chan. He was a personification of this rubric that I, in true teacher form, have made in order to make sure that whistles, we are being as objective and unbiased as possible when we are critiquing the designs of characters. It's impossible to remove all bias from the way that you exist as a person. We are going to carry baggage that we bring to the table when we look at anything. But this helps to make sure that we are being as objective as possible across all of them. All the other VODs started the grading at around 40 minutes. Yeah, this is about right. I'm kind of yappy. I'm kind of chatty. So, on the rubric, you can get a total of 10 points. 2 points in each of my 5 categories, which are color palette, silhouette, complexity versus clarity, focal points, and concept versus motifs, or concept and motifs. 2 get full points for color palette. The palette should be cohesive, interesting, well executed, work from a distance. You know the shtick. Interesting is kind of important. And I will say, the EGOs do a much better job of being interesting than maybe the base designs do as far as color palette goes. So, let's go! Yippee! You'll get no points in color palette if I'm slapping you left and right with color layers, multiply layers, anything of that nature to try and make the colors more harmonious or just more interesting in general. For Silo Palette, that's my favorite. New criteria unlocked, Silo Palette. Do we know what that is? No. Silhouette, rather. 2 get full points in silhouette. The silhouette needs to be unique and easily identifiable in and of itself. Think Miku, think Mario, think Sonic. We can identify these fellas just based on their silhouette alone, and it is honestly one of the key points that makes them so memorable. We should be doing this in character designs. The base designs, unfortunately, are lacking in this category because they're really grounded, and they didn't take the opportunities to exaggerate in areas like hair or in cuts of the clothing in a way that they could have. But the EGOs do exaggerate a bit more while still remaining relatively grounded in their design, so I'm looking forward to seeing those today. So, you will get no points for silhouette if the silhouette is blob-like, nondescript in nature, those general things. For complexity versus clarity, the model should be well balanced in terms of level of detail, and those details should support both the focal point and the concept without being excessive. You will get no points for complexity versus clarity if the model is distractingly complex or simple to the point of genericness. This was another category that the base EGOs weren't scoring fantastic, or not base EGOs, the base IDs were not scoring fantastically in because of the fact that they are being so grounded, they are uniforms, and they really weren't pushing the angles where they could have personalized the uniforms for every single character the way that they could have. However, this is seemingly less of a trouble when we look at the EGOs and we look at the non-base IDs. So, looking forward to that also. For focal points, the focal point should be well executed. The primary focal point in a character design should be the face and the eyes. The eyes are the portal to the soul. It is how we form a connection with a character. Usually I have to like grab you all by the shoulders and shake your shoulders very aggressively and be like, oh, it's a face, please believe me, it's a face. It's not the chest, it's not other parts of the body, it's not the thighs at Arknights, at Thigh Nights, or at other games that do that. However, to my great pleasure, this game doesn't have trouble with focal point. I'm so happy about it. This is like the first time where I really don't have to worry about this so much because a lot of the outfits are so much more grounded. The characters who have brighter hair colors make their hair or their face really focal. And because they're wearing a lot more neutral colors, their face, by being bright and warm and peachy mayhaps, is also drawing the focal point a little bit more. Just kind of across the board here. So I am rejoicing. I am singing the praises here of this one. On the contrary, which we might not have to worry about too much though, you will get no points for focal points if they are totally lost or outcompeted by other areas of interest. And finally, concept and motif. The concept should be clearly and creatively presented in the design with supportive motifs. What this means is I should be able to guess a couple key elements about a character's design just based on the way they look visually. What that means is that usually those key aspects are personality traits, they are maybe, in the case of this game, references to the source literature that they're inspired by. In the case of the EGOs, references to the anomalies? No, not anomaly, that's not the word. Is that the word? No. What are they called? Have I forgotten? Hang on. What are they called? No, they are called abnormality, not anomaly. I was close. What is between an anomaly and an abnormality? Is there a difference between those two words? Is this another one of those situations where I'm going to lose my entire mind because of a couple letters of difference? I'm sure they mean something different. But they seem to have very similar meanings. Synonyms? Essentially the same word. Intriguing. Okay. Yeah, abnormal means not normal. And anormal is also not normal. Let's describe something unusual. Abnormality typically refers to a deviation from physical standard or norm, often with a potentially negative or unhealthy application or implication, as in physical abnormality. Ah, okay. And then an anomaly maybe is something that is existing further beyond the realms, maybe? Abnormal is rather than the opposite of something normal. Also aberrations. No, we're gonna start having A-B words and I'm gonna start using them interchangeably and we're all gonna get confused. So I gotta lock in before that starts. Last Friday, I could not figure out the difference between phenome and phoneme. I'm proud to tell all of you, I figured it out. I got it, I've been practicing. I know all of them. I'll figure it out. So I just gotta remember that it's abnormality, not anomaly today. Anomaly? I love the way you say it. Thanks. Am I saying it strange? I might be. That's not unexpected. Oh, hang on. But back to what we were saying. I should be able to see the references of the abnormality in the ego if that is what is happening without having to be told. So like if I was given a list of here's some egos, here's some abnormalities. I'll get it. Abnormalities. I should be able to pick which ones go together visually. Without further information, potentially. Theoretically. You will get no points for concept on the alternate if the concept is unclear or non-existent, which I don't think is going to be an issue here. Yeah. Little helper, thank you for following. Scrolling a while, if that's what you're planning on doing. I'm not doing that. No. I'm just saying, theoretically, if we did that, that would be a way we could determine whether they're successful in this nature, but we're not going to worry about, like, actually physically doing that right this second. So, I think that was all of my things I wanted to say to get us started here, so why don't I take roll? And then we gotta figure out something to gamba over. I need to give you the opportunity of gambling today. And I'm not sure in what capacity to do it. So, let's take roll first. Who's here? If you'd like to check in for class, if you are on Twitch, we have a 1 point redeem for the channel point redeem that is here. If you are on YouTube, you can just say here or something of that capacity or hi, and I will try and say hello to everybody. Thank you for being here today. I gave you all 40 minutes to roll into class, but don't worry, you're never late to class. It's impossible. The shroommates show up exactly when they intend to. Let's see. Dojo, Boggs, Viraku, Edward, Nilo, Logan, Chili, Nilo, Shiokishi, Chokorama, Alive, Sanizum, Fern, Art Fun, Southern Lights, Wee Wah Woo Wah Wordy, Selma, Dragoon, Mad Buns, Diafiora, Nyabari, Ember, Seasonal Sade, Rex, Little Helper, Ahokana, Sekaries, Teratan, Remintha, D. Elat. Hello. Also, Ready Cetrobot25 and Laura Loracioni. Thank you for following. Let's see YouTube. I gotta scroll up a ways to get all of you. Cat, Danny, Game Loser, Sora, Romanix, Greaves, Solimner. Oh man, also my other disclaimer, if I mispronounce your name, I'm so sorry. I have teacher debuff and you are welcome to tell me how to say it correctly. And I'll do my best to remember. Bidu, Aros, Gilded Flower, Alu, Acrodicium, Alter Fear, Armando Bazaluda, Macari Metzger, Mr. Cards Callie, Silky Puddin', Maxi 7K, Sarah Quaz. I'm also not wearing glasses. This is difficult. Leaf Storm, Limbillion Brainrot, Anna McCarthy, Typical Zip, Alu, Hell's Reach, Quasar Burns, Puppy Cat, Sinner's Game. Wow, there's a lot of you. Mustache Boba, Ethereal, Nomo, Boba, again. Splick, Sora, hello again. Lee, Blobo, Alvin. Oh my gosh, there's so many of you. I don't know if I'll be able to get all of you. Chris, Starmie, Phoenix, Xfreezy, Mango, Noah, Dave, Dante. There we go. So many of you. Ueri Very, Scarecrow. Got it. There we go. Wait, hang on. What is this? Amber has tagged me in something. Amber, how do I go back to things when you've tagged me in them? It doesn't let me, but I can scroll up at least. Short version. Abnormality is capitalized and is the in-lore name of the creatures. Anomaly has no special in-lore meaning. It's just a word meaning a weird thing. Okay. Noted. I see. I see. Oh, goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you for coming. I see people saying farewell instead of hello as their check-in. Why don't we start up a base ego? Gregor's suddenly one day. Did we look at Gregor's base ego? I think we looked at most of the base egos previously. We were going to start with, I believe, Yi Sang Fell Bullet, Don Quixote Red Sheets, and I believe Ishmael Blind Obsession was going to be our first couples. I've received a voicemail? Hello? Who's there? There's nobody calling me. I can't hear. All of the base egos are kind of done. Yeah, I think we looked at just about all of them, but we'll see otherwise. As Avenge, thank you for the super. Are you going to be grading sprites and portraits only, or with animations? Also, all egos have corroded versions. You plan on grading both versions. Yeah, so that is the thing. There's like 10 moving parts to each character that we are going to look at, which does make things a little bit difficult. The goal here is that, theoretically, we're grading just character design. So the animations sort of exist separately from that, although I do wish we had more of the special effects that happen, because that is something that is helpful for clarity sometimes, or for pushing concept properly. But in theory, we've been opening up the, like, whatever the, here, wait, we can just do one. We'll do one and I'll show you how it's gonna work. We're going to look at multiple of the pieces that go towards each ego. So there are technically 2 character designs in each ego, but we're only grading one because the corrupted version is just a version of... Oh, something happened. The corrupted version is just an altered, usually a little bit grunged up version of the character design, and I know that I need to see the animation to understand the egos. We're gonna go to a different room so that we can all look at things together when I'm looking at things. So right now we're in the drawing area. We're not gonna stay here. We're gonna come over here where we can look at stuff. So here we have... Oh wait, you can't see it. Hang on. Go where we can see it. Oh, this is still the wrong room. Hang on, I'll get this right. Hang on, wrong room. Try again. Grunged up is a bit of an understatement. I mean, they're going through it, is what it is. So hang on, wait. We need this to go over here. Why are there 2 of it?
Beep.
What? Beep? You too, Gary. Gary, we'll talk later. Hang on. Put this has to go up here so that way it's captured properly. There we go. So now we can all see the same thing. So I can open animations, which should be down here, theoretically. Yeah. So we can look at some of the animations. It seems like they're not loading at full capacity, but they're here, so we can see them. Yeah, you guys can snoop and see who we're looking at after, potentially. That's not the E.G.O, that's the E.G.O suit. That's an ID, not E.G.O. This is ID? Are you kidding me? What is happening? Hang on. We're supposed to have Fell Bullet Yi Sang. This is the one I clicked. I might have clicked the wrong one, actually. Is this the right one? Why would they have two of them that are named the same thing? Oh, there we go. Okay, I think this is the right one now. There we go. Okay. Sorry. I clicked the wrong one. It had a similar name. That's okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the circular pictures. I know that that's what I want because this is literally in the thumbnail. So I just goofed up here. Here they have in the gallery, they might actually not have the animations. Oh no. And then here, if we look, you can see in the gallery, it doesn't appear like they have, unless this is the corrupted version or the corroded version, which it might be. There might be one that is sort of different. Oh no. Yeah, I'm not seeing the animations here for this one, so we might have to do something different to find it. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. And then I can switch this to corrosion also. So, we've got all the things we can look at. Full E.G.O animation's a bit complex to add as a GIF. Ah, I see. We'll YouTube them maybe. On the wiki, okay. We'll find them. I'll just Google the name of them when we find them. So what we're gonna end up doing is I'm gonna copy the main images in here. There we go. We're gonna do my favorite background trick, which is bam. There we go. Now I have magical floating this. Is that where the videos are? Is that a YouTube link, perhaps? I will find them. Do not worry. See the anomaly in the wiki too. Can I? Where do I see that? Does it automatically show me it somewhere in here? I did not super go through, but I do have pulled up that the anomaly for this one is time. No, it's der Flushute. Oh man, I'm so rusty on German. Yeah, I have my list pulled up for what they are. Under risk level. Okay, alright, let's see. We'll have to feel it out for the first one probably to figure this out. Risk level. Oh yeah, right here. And then I can open it. Oh, perfect. Lovely. Beautiful even. This is fantastic. Beautiful. So then I probably want to look at the enemy, right? Haha! Look at that! Oh, we're now doing carnival music. Curse shooter. Okay, so is this the fella? This is the fella then that we want to grab. YouTube playlist of the E.G.O animations. Don't worry, I found it. I have it found. I have it located in another tab. We'll drag it in as needed. Yes? Hell yeah. Okay, so come here. Come hang out over here. We're gonna keep our informations separate. Whoa, you're big. Whoa, you're tall. There we go. So I'm gonna go like this and put this guy like right here. Perfect. Give him a little outline so I can see him maybe. Let's see, would black be good or is white gonna be the better way of doing it? That's actually fine. Perfect. There we go. Now we're good. Come from YouTube. Well, welcome on over. Don't forget Fell Bullet Heathcliff. We might get to that one. I have a list that I put together based on some suggestions that I got because I found what all the names of things were in advance. So we'll check that eventually. So I have this here. And then, oh wait, hang on. This is gonna be a little bit complicated to try and do all of my grading because I was gonna hope to have the grading open on the other side over here. But if I'm looking at the wiki, I might not be able to. We'll see. How many are we thinking of doing today? As many as I can. There is no set number. We're gonna go through as many as I can today to figure out what is, just to see as many. I do also, hopefully at the end, want to find a little time for the fellas who are the companions. Do you say it Pequod? I can't remember. The boat fellas. The boat companions of Ishmael, because I have read
1001110101010101010101010101010.
Oh. What are you trying to tell us, Gary? I don't speak binary. I don't know if you've noticed, but I am non-binary, Gary, so I can't speak what you're saying right now, but thank you though. Yeah. How do you say, is it said Pequod? Pequod. Okay, I couldn't remember. I've read Moby Dick. So yeah, I do want to look at Queequeg as well at some point, potentially. Just because I have specific feelings about Moby Dick just as a piece of media. So we'll take a look at those potentially if I have time. Squiiji canonically non-binary, more likely than you think. Yeah. I'm a mushroom. What'd you expect? Mushrooms don't have gender. That's a made-up concept. I'm not aware of those. Like this abnormality because it's edgy in a funny way. Funny way, really. Okay. So, why don't we start, actually, theoretically, only almost an hour into stream. Only an hour in. Why don't I get started here? So, I'm not going to read any information first. We're going to attempt a cold read of the design here. And then we'll gather a little bit more information, and we will determine whether this is serving the concept well or not. And then we'll just go through other elements. I should also grab the GB version, the in-game sprite, because this has a little bit more clarity sometimes. There. Can I have that? Thanks. Yoink! Look, these two can be friends. They can stand next to each other. I think that he's going to be taller when he is in this version, Yi Sang. Let me give you also a border. Did it happen? Did you get a border? No. There we go. There we go. Lovely. Okay. So, just vaguely looking at this character, trying to ascertain what is going on about them. I do think, first off, that it is very obvious that this character is a reference to this abnormality, perhaps. If not for any other reason than the fact that they're wearing the exact same outfit. And I've seen that this tends to be the way that they go about interpreting the abnormalities for the characters, is they give them the same outfit, or they give them as close to the same outfit as possible, maybe with a couple little unique changes to it to make it relate more to the character themselves, perhaps. So in this case, I can see that, especially in the sprite version, they're taking the sort of billowing mane. Oh man, this room is not the right room for doing this right now. We're gonna go back to my other room. This is gonna be difficult. Hang on. We'll stay here until we need to go find more characters, and we'll go back to the other rooms so that way you can see what I'm doing. But it's so hard trying to zoom around properly when the sides are cut off. So, I can also... Yeah, I'm not going to move the rubric over. So, as I was saying, the sort of hair head that is interpreted as almost a flaming mantle has been reinterpreted as just flames cascading off the side of the face. I don't mind this as an interpretation. I think it's also expanding off the top of his head in this version. So I'm going to assume that there's some sense of corruption or inferno angle that is happening here based on my knowledge of other things that relate to this game. Maybe the silhouette for this one is interesting, where it's very downward focused. This one a little bit less. This is a little bit more active of a silhouette. This one is giving more of a quiet and maybe reserved personality. And the silhouette here, similar here, but the wind is adding a little bit of dynamic movement, which is interesting. If I were to guess what is going on in this ego as to the concept of it, I know the abnormality has its probably own separate concept, but just on the cold read, I would think this is something military adjacent and apocalypse adjacent, because we've got a long tattered cloak that seems like it's just a single piece of cloth wrapped around the body to keep warm, but we are wearing relatively well-maintained clothing underneath it. Shows a little bit of wear. We've got boots with the military style wrapping that goes up to the knee, which is done to keep spiders and other bugs from crawling into your pants and your boots as you are resting. So that is my other military hint. It's a little harder to see here. The feet are so flat. What type of apocalypse? Because isn't their world post-apocalyptic? Their world is post-apocalyptic, I think. Post-apocalyptic. Great English language usage today. Fantastic. I believe it's post-apocalyptic, where they have rebuilt, potentially, so things... Like, the world didn't necessarily end, but there was some big changes. And then things were rebuilt, and now they're living in sort of the aftermath. But there is some organization to society once again, I believe. So, yeah, wars can still happen. City is stable, but the world is unlivable. Yeah. I would say post-apocalyptic in the same way that, like, Final Fantasy VII is in Advent Children. As, like, a comparative basis. Honestly, that's probably pretty good as a comparison. From what I've seen, that sounds like a pretty apt comparison, where it seems like there's similar technology available as well, both between, like, post Final Fantasy VII Midgar, and where the city seems to be, maybe. Also with a little bit of dystopia thrown in. So, you can see that with Midgard. Yeah, I see a little bit of it. Yeah, imagine Cyberpunk, but without the techware. Yeah, so Midgar. so Final Fantasy VII maybe a little bit. Post-apocalyptic, more like corporate capitalist hell. I have heard that also. 95% of the human population and almost everything else is uninhabitable. Yes. Fallout, less radiation. No techware. So, based on my cold read, have I approached what the intent of the concept is here? This one's kind of tough because this is, I believe, what is this? Encore. No. It's similar to Encore. It's not Encore. What is Encore the ID that I accidentally had open earlier? It is. That is what it is. They just have the same name. G-Core. No, okay. Definitely military themed. Okay. I see. Yes? No? Which is it? Is it yes or no? Not related to Encore. Okay, so they just have... Encore, Fell Bullet, Yi Sang is just similar to E.G.O, which is not the same. Man, this is confusing. No one guying. If you don't know, don't say. Yes, I would appreciate it that if you don't know, don't say. Don't answer the question if you don't know. Also, I need to unpin this message that says I'm going to be late. Encore is referring to Yi Sang himself when he's using equipment based on the abnormality. This is the one is a different kind of ego usage. Kind of confusing. Okay. I see. When ego extraction is out context is nightmarish. I did read an explanation of the 3 kinds of ego, and I tried to commit it to memory, but I will say that may have leaked back out of the funny little holes in my mushroomy noggin, unfortunately. So. As far as concept goes, people who do know answers to it, have I missed something about this concept that is important to the understanding of it? I am also getting a little bit of that sort of... maybe just like war feeling, but the fact that this is a rifle with a wooden stock on it makes it feel more like a hunting rifle, or more like somebody who, you know, was living in their cabin. Yeah, it's, I guess, a shotgun also, potentially, yeah. Makes it feel like somebody who is rising to the call of needing to be in the militia or in a military, as opposed to somebody who was given a weapon, but I could always be wrong based on that. That's just me thinking about it as a result of the fact that it's constructed with wood. Wait, sorry, what you're saying? That's a bolt-action shotgun? That was my question! It looked bolt-action to me! What is all this back here? Is this really a shotgun? With a scope? This shotgun has iron sights, which I guess they would be a repeating rifle. Bullets? Indiscriminate like war? It is a shotgun. It's a shotgun, it wants to be in a rifle when it wants to be. Okay. Sometimes. Okay, so we're doing magical future things where we don't have to worry about it. Magic shotgun that fires bullets through portals. We have seen magic bullets before. We saw magic bullets in relation to... Ooh, who was it? Last week. Was it... No, it wasn't Rodion. Yeah, Outis. Outis was who it was. Yeah, magic bullet. There we go. Yeah, Outis. Check gallery. The gallery has nothing. There's no particular gallery for this one. Let me switch. Let me grab the corroded version also. Gun isn't actually a shotgun, and the magic circles multiply the amount of bullets traveling through it. Intriguing. Interesting. Their shotgun was designed as a reference to Der Freischütz, Der Shooty. Interesting. It's a Lee Enfield rifle that uses .308 caliber. Caliber's like 10 gauge shotgun. People after war used the gauge for hunt. See, that sounds right. I don't know enough to say whether or not that truly sounds right, but Joby would know whether that's right or not. But that sounds right to me. I could imagine a Lee Enfield rifle. Attack animation in the gallery for the for the abnormality. Yeah, abnormality. Correct word. Let's see, does it have it? Summons? No. The wiki is a little bit hard to figure out, I will say. Let's see. Mirror dungeon things? What are we looking for animation? The only animation that this wiki has in the gallery is the idle animation, where it's just moving a little bit in the wind. Animation for the ego, the corrosion is amazing. Okay, I will grab the animation because I think I found it. Hang on. In short, this ego could not care who he's hunting down. Okay, so why don't we move to concept, and I'm just going to, yeah, get the animation on YouTube because I did have it somewhere already. So this is... There we go. Comparing this one to that Outis one might be useful for a comparison of how they differentiate. First one, which is red versus blue. Yeah, her seemed a little bit more magical, and she seemed like she was in a little bit better of a situation than he seems like right now, potentially. Okay, wait, this is getting really complicated. I'm gonna go like this and full screen it here, and then I will let you all watch it with me if I go here. Let's see, the music might overlap though. I don't know if we'll have audio on it, but that doesn't matter so much. Perhaps. Okay. Rifle, I can hear him talking. Okay. Alright, we're looking down. Rifle, okay. Breaking the glass. Firing the weapon. This is someone else in front of him. Standing in the way. We are firing bullets that are magic and are piercing through multiple enemies. It's got a little gradient overlay thing. Okay. Free gunner versus quick shot. Ideal friendly fire and action. I don't know what any of this means. Bolt, single shot. He shot Gregor? Oh no! It always aims for an ally. Oh no, okay. Okay, so there's something going with screens, but I'm unfamiliar. Was this the animation you guys wanted me to see? The ammo is your allies? God, okay. Executes an ally to deal massive damage. God, okay. Yes? Okay. I gotta be so honest with you. I don't really think this gave me any new information that I didn't already have about this design, surprisingly. Other than seeing the bullet fire and seeing how this ego is used in battle, perhaps, which that is a part of concept, is whether or not we can determine what the gameplay style of a character is like. I don't think this added to my understanding of the character, especially. I know Yi Sang has an association with mirrors. I am aware of that already, and I've seen it in other areas. I've seen it also in the corroded? Yeah, corroded version of this one, but I don't know. Video didn't show the proper animation, which requires the uncorroded version to actually kill the ally. They take a monster's form like Yi Sang turning into a reflection. Okay, wait, so is this not the right one, actually, maybe? Let's just try again. This is Beck who has all the animations, but let's try again and see if there is a one that is not that one. Oh, okay, so I guess I don't get to have that video anymore. Go back. One of those makes sense in context things. If it does, you'll get the portals. Find one by Project Moon official. The official has it. Okay, we'll go back. We'll go to the official channel because I saw the official channel down here. Here. Nope, that's the wrong one. That's not the right one. Fell bullet. I need the ego, not the ID? Question mark? This is so complicated. Why do they have the same name? Or is it both in there? Wait, that's the ID? Yes, that's what I want. This is so confusing. Aren't they different things? Limbus Company. I'm definitely gonna get in trouble for having this showing on my stream potentially, but that's okay. Okay. They do both. Oh, okay. Okay, so we swing in the butt end of the rifle for a melee. That's more than one shot. I guess he reloaded. Not that one. Which one? I thought you said both were here. Here's my question. How different is this design from the one I looked at even? It seems like they are very comparable. Very comparable in design between the two of them. They seem extremely comparable. Not much. Okay. I'm gonna lose my mind, I think, maybe. Okay, so if I go to the official Project Moon account, don't play this video, please. If I do Fell Bullet Yi Sang, well, there'll be a separate video for the other one. Encore? H-E... No. One is an ult. So what, yeah, so what is the point of all of this is sort of what I'm getting to the point of the third one? Okay. All right, we'll look at this one then. But
Limbus Company.
I do need to just specify, having looked at all of this, from a character design standpoint, I understand that we were all very excited to look at the animations and to have somebody looking at these animations. I'm not an animator. So the critique, I don't have any critiques to levy about animation. And on top of that, I am not gaining new information about this character from the animations, unfortunately. It's showing me gameplay mechanics, which I can just read, theoretically, how they attack, but I need to be able to determine whether or not that is incorporated into the actual design, aside from the fact that it is animated. So we can look at this one, but I don't foresee this being especially helpful to us as we continue to critique them. I think this is taking us on a very strong left turn. And instead of just showing off our blurbos. I see, okay. We can watch this one just for fun since we're already here. Let me find him. But I don't think this is potentially... Oh, he's the starting one here. I don't think this is especially necessary for each character. And furthermore, the visual differences between the ID and the ego are like almost negligible. What is this? Why is there a weird gradient on them? Okay. Yep. Oh yeah, okay, so we are murdering our teammate to attack the enemy. That's great. Mostly in context, I don't think it's as important as, say, corrosion sprites. Okay, we are looking at the corrosion sprites. I understand that he has a motif with mirrors going on, so we're seeing different reflections here. And there's something digital happening now, too, but okay. This might have been a bit of digression. Yeah, the I digress. Not constructive, but cool to see. We gotta lock in, though. We gotta not... we gotta stay talking about the design. So let's come back here. I'm gonna close this. We're gonna focus, theoretically. Let me get the music back in. So, we'll just look at the ID and compare them. So, we're just adding so many heads to this beast right now. We don't need to. The comparison between the ID for this and the ego for it, the differences are negligible to the point that they are not impacting a character's score, I'm going to guess. At least as far as this particular ego and ID combo go, they are similar enough that it is not worthwhile to grade them similarly or at the same time. It's fine. We don't need to. We're going to focus and we're going to stick to just this. We're going to stick with egos. We're not going to feed the Hydra. We're going to stick to ego. We're going to pull their abnormality that they are related to, look at the similarities across them, and we're gonna keep it there, perhaps. Yeah, key jingle. Can we get a little key jingle, please? Yeah. Most of the time, ego animations more or less reaffirm the character. Okay. Are they too complicated? Just let them analyze base sprite and corrosion. Yeah, it's getting complicated, and I'm getting overwhelmed just a little. We'll pull it back in, though, don't worry. So, where was I? Concept. I believe I have visually noted all of the angles of the concept that are necessary to understand what they're aiming for with the character here. With the relation to it being, okay, we're doing something military adjacent. This character is in a position where there's a lot of strife going on, which is evidenced by the tattering of the cloak, which seems like something that is just a single piece of sheet that is wrapped around the body. It's not specifically a like tailored cloak or anything. The clothing is still well maintained, and we are using a weapon that has wood on it, which we tend to associate weapons in the military with wood on them with being older. We don't tend to put wooden stocks on military weapons very much in the modern day, just because they get rot if you get them damp, which is unfortunate. They do look really sick, though. So, are there any other angles to the concept that I'm missing here? Potentially. The gameplay angle seems like he is sacrificing his teammates for the sake of victory, which is not something that seems like could be at odds with the way the character looks. This looks like a character who has been through it for several reasons here. Got it? Hell yeah, okay. So that is good to hear. Oh, my music has stopped again. Please don't. Please don't stop. Isn't much angles. Nailed it for the most part. Okay, corrosion sprite as well. Yeah, we can look at the corrosion sprite as well, but we're grading this one. We're not grading the corrosion sprite. We're grading the character's design. Yi Sang could not care. We'll kill on sight. I think I am getting that from the design. Also, the magic taking the shape of, what do you call it? The recticle? Is that the word? For the fact that I grew up in Appalachia, I should know more gun terminology than I do. It's a little embarrassing. Crosshair. Yeah, that might be the better word. Thank you. I also don't play much in the way of gun shoot game. But yeah, crosshair. Becoming almost like a halo is rather interesting. But it seems like a sort of infernal halo as opposed to a more heavenly one. Yeah, doesn't have the Iron Crown. Okay. Who cares? Not what they shoot. Yes. Whenever next we'll get gnomed today, probably 0. We got gnomed not at all last time. Very Darkest Dungeon. I see that also. I do see Darkest Dungeon. It's in the flat blacks they use. So, first thing we can grade. Let me grab my color. My horrible, terrible, awful, abysmal green. Because it makes us not worry about grades. If I graded in red, I feel like we'd all be really stressed out. So, concept. I think I'm getting all of the necessary angles of the concept. Oh, excuse me, hiccup. Pretty clearly. So I'm not too worried about it. For the color palette, I will say there's a little more variation happening in this design than we saw in the base designs, where we're getting cooler black tones for the shoes and for the leg wrappings. Similarly for the hair. Brown for the body, a little bit more saturated brown for the belt and for the rifle. And then also this red flame, which is acting very functionally to make the face incredibly focal, because we've got these nice sweeping arcs that are pulling us into the face, which is also, you know, maybe also conveniently, the brightest area of the design other than the hands. The fact that he is so fully covered in dark clothing so that his skin, which is much brighter in contrast, only appears in a couple of small areas, really makes his face focal, because his face is still a bigger flat plane of that color than his hands are. Is sweeping one of your words? Did I say sweeping? Sweeping is just a gestural word where I'm saying that, do you see how this is an arc that is pulling us from the body up into the face? They're sort of radiating out of the eye area. This is a tactic that makes us want to look in the face potentially now. Is that it? Okay, that's what it was. Okay. I'm just gonna keep defining words and making sure you understand the terminology I'm saying. If I trigger a brain rot moment, you guys can say it, just let me know that that's what you're doing. Like, send it and then follow it up by saying, like, just like put a parentheses around it or something. Every word is a sleeper word. It does appear that way. So, face, focal. So I would give this full points for focal point in the face. I still feel like for color palette we could use a little bit more variety. It's very brown overall. And sadly, I feel like this version actually has a little more variety. I feel like the anomaly design is stronger than his design, which is really interesting because the detail scale is more effective. The detail of these little wispy fires is so much smaller and more intricate than anything else here, which on one hand can help focally with bringing us into the face as well. But here, there's a much more consistent level of detail overall, especially in the scale of shading. There's also more shading. I would say that the spot blacks are more effectively done in the abnormality, which is interesting. And then there's also the way that they've done this texture. Can I zoom in? Hello? Zoom in, permit? There we go. The way that they've rendered this texture makes it feel like a camo here, which they have done in the full body. So I'm going to assume that he is meant to be wearing camo, or maybe they haven't. It's kind of hard to tell. But I'm making a guess that he's intending to wear camo. Meanwhile, this one does not feel like he's wearing camo. The texture isn't as interestingly executed. The line art is looser in a way that doesn't have as much clarity, too. It's interesting, the difference between the two of them. Man, this one is really good focally. I feel like I want to grade the abnormality more than I want to grade him, because this is a stronger silhouette. The focal point is crazy. We're trailing into the face with a big red object, which is the only part of the design that's red. And then within it, we have a smaller focal point within the face, which is an eye. Like, this is a very effective focal point. I feel like the abnormality is stronger than his design is, almost. Makes sense, only based on it. Probably grime or dirt. It could be grime or dirt, but I was guessing that it might be some kind of camo, because it's military adjacent, maybe. Maybe. Figured he's using an old military outfit that was just a dark solid color. That could also be the case. Older military outfits were not necessarily always camo. Sometimes they were just solid neutral colors. But I do fear that the color design isn't as interesting because the red is in a smaller proportion than the other one. I'm gonna be a little more critical of this one here. The silhouette is questionable. It's okay. It's not fantastic. Having a big asymmetrical element like this off the side of the face, and then having the cloak or cape, whatever we might want to call this, also as an asymmetrical moment on one side of the body does help. But this is still a stronger silhouette because we're doing more exaggeration around the head. The shoe is more turned to the side effectively. Here, it's not so bad, but we are getting a lot of mileage out of the fact that the wind is blowing also. So I would say it's not a bad silhouette, but it's not the most distinct silhouette ever. And then for complexity versus clarity, I'm going to be grading the full height illustration for this one because these are really pared down usually, and they lose a lot of texture, and specifically this pose is not helping us with that. They've covered the entire torso, which is where all the detail is. But it does seem like there's a lot of specificity with the way that he is wearing his outfit. He's got those sort of classic, I guess they're technically suspenders that I associate with military gear, where he's got the pockets and stuff. Hang on, this is an instrumental, so I think we should be okay with this song. Yeah, ammo bags that are tacked onto him. I think he's wearing a belt underneath as well. Seems like there's enough specificity here that I'm not bothered, especially the fact that they included, I believe this is this a Chinese military thing? It might not be. I'm thinking about it because I do Northern Shaolin Kung Fu, and the Shaolin monks wrap their shins also. Probably Korean. Oh, it might be. I forget. Is Yi Sang Korean? I can't remember. Man, it is tough doing this over a couple of weeks, though. A lot of World War I inspiration. I see. Okay. Which is interesting because I think the name is German for this. Right? Isn't it? Something in the name was German. Yeah, the abnormality is German. So he is an interpretation of it after. Yi Sang's Korean. Ah, okay. I see. I couldn't remember. Also, the dev team is Korean. I did know that. I just couldn't remember it. Learning where everyone was from last time, I'm probably gonna forget where half of the people are from. Half of them are, which is kind of tough. You're doing great. Thanks. I'm doing my best. Complexity versus clarity. Seems like there's a lot of specificity, but I wish there was more personalization. This might be something I say across the board, where I get that they are trying to make a really strong reference to this character, this other character, this abnormality, but we could have done a little bit more to make this outfit specific to Yi Sang, potentially also. I like what they're doing by the fact that they're interpreting, you know, the flaming head and something coming out of the eye as sort of like a magic situation. Similarly, the fact that they've sort of changed the cut of the cloak. But I feel that they could do more to differentiate them just a little bit. Ideal. Thank you for the super. I appreciate it. Did I say ideal yet for him? I guess I didn't. Corrosion form is specific to him. That is true! The corrosion form is much more specific to him. So we can look at it just quickly. Whoop. Hello, come here. What? Wow, it's really big. Let me turn these two off. It's funny that they make them so huge compared to the E.G.O, like, giant illustration. Anyway, this one is made more specific to him. This is sort of hard to grade if I were to grade this separately as a design, just for the fact that this is going beyond a character in all capacity. We've moved into the, like, reverse 1999 area of this is objects. Yeah, this is very abstract. I love this as a concept, and it's a very interesting way of executing a character. But I would say that the character design is still the same as this. We're just obstructing it and breaking it up and doing some very interesting surreal stuff with it. Yeah, he's in the mirror. It's prop heavy, yeah. Oh, I guess yeah, mirrors as a reference to snipers is interesting. In his corroded form, is he a sniper? He's got a sniper scope on here, but this is the same gun, which I guess can shoot any caliber he wants. He can have it be a shotgun or a rifle, whatever you want, I guess. Some of the corroded versions are very large, likely several times bigger. Oh, interesting. Just angled, okay. Definitely a reverse 1999 awakened design, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel reverse 1999 in the fact that it is, yeah, an awakened object in some capacity almost, where he is living within the mirrors maybe, but I guess he is controlling all of them as well to attack, which is interesting. So, I think I have my grade here, which is stronger than his base design. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 10? I think that's what I gave him on the thumbnail also. I think I made a good estimate on the thumbnail. It's gonna be hard to try and draw my grade here. If I go like this. Now we can read it. Nice. There we go. So, 1 down. We'll see who else. So, who was next? I think I had... Was it Don Quixote next? I think so. I think Don Quixote is next. Let me find her. And we were going to be looking at red sheets, I believe is the next suggestion. I picked the first 3 as just ones that have very different color palettes and seemingly different executions of concepts. Yeah. Red sheets are fun. Yeah, it was one of the suggestions that appeared pretty often. So those are the ones we're going to start with, are the ones that were suggested a couple of times. So let me grab... I'm not as prepared as I was last week. Last week I had such a nice setup for everything. But this week I was fighting YouTube. So I didn't have time to set up. Because it took me an hour to make my stream go live. Which was not fantastic. Scroll down. Let's see. Red sheets. This one. Thankfully I know exactly what this one looks like, which makes it way easier. There we go. Copy. There we go. Here she is. Let's get a little background color that doesn't hurt my eyeballs. Bam. Hi, girly. How you doing? You got a lot going on. Let's grab your... For the corroded version, she's just not present, which is interesting in that illustration. Her idol. These are crazy. There's so much detail in this. Nope. Do copy this one, please. There we go. Hello. And then we'll grab... The corroded form is the same, but just a little bit more damaged. Is there one of her just standing in the corroded form? They don't have one of it. Oh, maybe is this what this is? Yeah. Hang on. Can I not copy? Copy. There we go. So I'll keep this on hand for later. Man, she looks like she's going through it a little bit. Just a tad. Just a little. Yeah. You missed Fell Bullet Yi Sang and that's it? Oh, you're telling somebody else that. I was like, I didn't miss Fell Bullet Yi Sang. We just did that one. And then the abnormality, let's see, which is so that no one will cry. What a crazy name for a creature. Grab the enemy. Okay, yeah, I see the reference. Ooh, this is a very interesting interpretation, I will say. Wow, it's pretty bloody. Which I guess makes sense for the corroded version then. Let's stick you. Whoop, hello, if only I had a mouse. There we go. Bam. Perfect. Give me an outline. Beautiful. Beautiful. Lovely. Uh-oh. Stray pixel. I've noticed this in the sprites. Intrigued. There's stray pixels all over sometimes. There we go. Okay. Made him so small. I guess I didn't have to make him that small, but he's okay. He'll be alright. He's just a little guy. Pat him on head. So, here for the cold read. First off, I might be getting the correct read of what these are, but are these... I see people saying talismans. That might be the word I'm looking for, but these are sort of the slips of paper that are used in acts of warding against spirits, I believe, or in some capacity and related to that. Is that what they are? Seals, talismans? Yeah, okay. And we've seen these seals elsewhere in other characters before too, because we saw them in, was it Cromer? I believe? Maybe? Yeah? Okay. So, would it be, is this a similar universe thing that's happening here maybe? I'm going to guess that we're doing an anti-robot situation once more as related to that, maybe. Not related to Cromer? Okay, not the same talisman. They're just different? Okay, so they both just had talismans on them. Talismans represent the wishes of the people and the burden they represent. Okay. Cromer's purity seals. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, I was trying to draw connections, but I missed. That's okay. I might have missed my comparison just a little bit. But, so, the other things I'm trying to read from this. So if we are covered in talismans, I'm going to assume that there's some angle here where we are trying to either ward off something, or I see people saying talismans representing wishes, so she's instead collecting wishes maybe. Either way, there's a collection angle happening here, and it seems like quantity is important. She's covering part of her face in both the sprite art and in the splash art. This time she's holding a fan across her face, which is going to make me think that there's some angle here relating to her wishing to be obscured or hide away, or maybe she is shying away from the expectations people are placing on her. Maybe, potentially. These are just vague guesses based on the information I can see here before me. And in this version, she seems like she is not bothered by what is happening to her. She seems mildly alright with it. However, I'm getting a very different read from this, where she is definitely going through it at this point. This is somebody who is definitely suffering from the way that everything is impacting them. Being weighed down. Hello? Can I fill this color in here, please? What is happening? There we go. Wasn't working. More the line of delusions the sinner has. Okay. Nobody will cry unless me getting my ass. Oops. Crojan's like ego gone wrong. Yeah. So ego gone wrong for her is making her more similar to the original abnormality, which I'm going to guess perhaps is she the more positive interpretation of it in this version, where had it not gone wrong, it would have ended up like this. Spawn out with your interpretations. Okay. So that no one will cry will actually get aggressive if you remove its talismans. Okay, so that's maybe why, since we're seeing that the talismans are tattered on this one, it is covered in blood, so it is acting out in that capacity. Therefore, something similar for her maybe. Is she missing... Her talismans are a little more tattered in this one, but she seems a little more covered in them. They're covering her whole face, which might just be for creepy points, maybe. Corruption is basically a mental breakdown. I see. Just wearing the power as an ego, if she lost control of the power, she'll get corroded. Ah, okay, they did tell me that that was one of the ways it could happen. 2 questions. What is the abnormality about, and what does the sinner get in ego? Wait. 2 questions. What is the abnormality about, and why does the sinner get an ego of this abnormality? Those are good questions. You know, those might be good things to consider here as well. The abnormality here seems to be about wishes being placed on others. Oh, I can see the creature in the background here. Wishes being placed on others, and it seems like for this creature to be attached to those wishes in a way where it will lash out if it loses access to them. It is maybe showing us something about the wishes and desires of Don Quixote, maybe, which is that she is maybe enjoying being relied on, and when she does not have that aspect anymore, she might lose the aspect of it. And yeah, I do know that they are wearing the egos as weapons, sort of as a tactical angle, but I'm trying to think about why they may have chosen this particular abnormality for this particular sinner, is more so the angle we're pulling from, maybe. Deep meaning to why they're assigned it. About taking the burden of others, removing the talismans makes it nervous. Okay. Dawn has an impossible dream. Ah, okay. Heavy theme of carrying dreams. So that would make sense then. If you remember Manager Dawn, how Don Quixote is, the excessive amount of talismans reflects her fixation on fixers, and in turn the fake personality she has. I didn't know she had a fake personality, but I do remember her being very covered with all the little icons of the other fixers, perhaps. So I think that makes sense. What was the second question? Wait, what is the abnormality about? Why does Sinner get the ego of this abnormality? So I think we hit both of those things. Conceptually, I think we are managing to determine all the angles of it. Maybe. I think we're interpreting the concept relatively well just from seeing it. And it is very clear the thing that it is referencing, where we do have the talismans as a direct reference, but then covering her in a very droopy, long, brown, sort of slightly, I don't know if it's damaged, it might just be bunched around her upper arm. But it's replicating the fact that this creature is overall very brown. Makes sense with her shoes. Where are her shoes? Hang on. You guys also told me that most of them keep their shoes, or not their shoes. They keep one specific item across many of the designs. I see that she is wearing shoes. But her horse, as a reference for the shoes. Is that not a thing in the egos? Is that maybe just a thing in the IDs? Egos don't keep shoes? Okay, good. Good to note. Temporary thing, so she's fine. And we're applying to egos. Okay, we'll note that for the future. So, for grading, I think we've sort of worked out what the concept is via my cold reads and your confirmation or denial as to what I've said about them. And I would say we're getting the bulk of it pretty decently. For focal points, This is a lot harder for her, I would say, than it is for him, for Yi Sang. But I would say that her head is still pretty focal in the fact that this specific yellow they use for her hair color doesn't appear anywhere else. And usually in a design, level of detail is used to bring our attention to something. However, the opposite of that is true here, where because there's so much detail everywhere, our eyes are looking for an area of rest, which we are finding in this half of her face. And then in this version, at least, there's only one really large red element, which is the rose in her hair, which is this really a rose this time and not a seal? Yeah, that looks like to be a real rose. So it is making her face pretty focal, and that is an effective thing that you can do. You can use level of detail to push someone to look at the face, just by the fact that the face is an area of rest. But it either has to be that the face is an area of rest or the face is an area of detail in order for it to work to the fullest extent as it should. It's basically ego abnormality, so is using the power of the abnormalities temporary. Ah, so that's why she's not bugged by not having her shoes, I see. Regards how their lord treats it. Perhaps. So, focal point. Yeah, so you can just annoy someone to look somewhere else? Yes. Yes, that is more or less what we're saying, is you can sort of subconsciously manipulate your viewer into looking somewhere by overwhelming them. Complexity versus clarity. I will say, this has more clarity than I feel like a lot of the sprites have, which is surprising considering how much is going on with them. I do wish that for their sprite art, they would employ something to push back the lower part of the designs, just because they're a little overwhelming sometimes. Let's see if I can just like they could put a gradient just over the lower part, but I'm gonna make an educated guess that they're probably compositing something in the game that is serving a similar role, maybe. So it might just be the way that I'm viewing it right now, which is making it tough because there's no added elements for clarity or for making this less overwhelming. But do you see how much more relaxing on the eyes that is? They do that sometimes? Okay. I'm gonna guess they probably do. Especially if they're doing like an up-close shot, I'm gonna guess they're probably pushing the character back as it approaches where the text is also, maybe. Candles on the animation. Interesting. Okay. So, complexity versus clarity. Surprisingly, I'm not really having any trouble reading it. And even in the full body version, hang on, whoops. The fact that the clothing is darkened so much does keep it from being overwhelming in texture, just in the main part of the body. I will say that the head isn't really working as well as an area of rest in this full body illustration because the talismans are placed a little bit more sparingly. But that's okay. I can tell what the intent is here at least. Excellent background music for the occasion. Oh. People that post just the ego and corrosion of egos on YouTube. Player uses these, they only see the sprites for about 10 to 20 seconds, so less effort is necessary. So what are you normally looking at then if you're not looking at the sprite for the character when the characters interact or do other things? Maybe. What do you normally look at? Look at the new E.G.O, the art, the animation, the ID. Mostly just the animation itself. Okay, I see. So, complexity versus clarity. Surprisingly, it's fine for me. I'm not bugged by the level of detail here. I wish maybe there was just a little more variety, but it's okay. It's alright. Silhouette is the one place that I feel like this is missing out. Where the silhouette in this illustration is stronger by the fact that there's a lot more elements breaking the outer edge. I'll have to do this one in like a light color maybe. So that way we can see what the actual silhouette is. Where is she? Is this you? Yeah, there we go. That's her silhouette. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. There's her silhouette. Once again, her weapon is the largest, most recognizable element of her silhouette. For the fact that she has so many little things tagged onto her form, very few of them are breaking the outer edge of her design. The axe is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, and the axe is not the character. Her hair design, at least, is interesting and is more memorable, I would say, than her default hair design, which we were getting confused with. Oh, who was it? Her hair in her base design was really similar, I think it was to Sinclair, just in silhouette. So the fact that she has a talisman hanging off the side of her head, she's got higher buns, is good for distinction. But I do think that she could benefit potentially from having more of these talismans sticking off the edge of her body a little bit more. But this hem is sort of specific. It's better than it was, but it's not fantastic. I is you guys calling him skincare? I will say also, the other thing just to keep in mind here, as we did before, this is the character. This is the character. And would we be able to recognize her outside of the context of being fans of this game? Unclear. I see people saying Chichun. Who is that? Is that another Limbus Company character, or is that a character from somewhere else? Or another Project Moon character. Posing helps. Posing may help also if the arm was breaking the edge and we could move some of those things out to the edge. Not relevant here, she's just a secondary character. Oh, okay, another Limbus character. Just has buns too. Oh, okay, so we're just saying similarity maybe in silhouette, potentially. Let me turn off all of those things that I was doing there and turn this back on. But her silhouette's not bad. It's just not as strong as it could be, but I would say it's still a marked improvement over her base ID. And then for color palette, she does have an interesting color palette from the fact that she has more than 2 colors in the palette. She's more than black, white, a color, and a metal. She's got her cooler undertoned yellow hair, her warmer undertoned yellow seals. She's got little bits of red throughout, brown. We've got cooler shading for the white elements in the design. There's a good variety of colors in the undertones here that is not leaving me feeling like something's missing for the first time, and I'm very happy about it. So I believe this is a 9 out of 10, which is what I gave her on the thumbnail, I think. Did I really accurately manage to guess what all of my grades were gonna be? I'd be really proud of myself if I did that, because that's not something I'm usually very good at. My guesses are usually pretty loose. But I'd say 9 out of 10. Makes sense here. Are we content with that? I'd imagine so. Good job, brain. Thanks. Donkey alt hairstyles just make me wish she had more fun hair in her base design. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying when we graded her, was that two weeks ago? Was that we can have grounded character designs, but you can still have interesting hairstyles for them that have interesting silhouettes. Which is what she's doing here. She just has a more interesting silhouette, more interesting hairstyle. We could give her braids or a side braid or more choppy hair, or I'm trying to think of what other things might fit her as a character. She could still have her hair pulled up. There's a lot of things that could happen. And it is funny that I am maybe bringing this up as a point of something that is bugging me, because often in games I'm complaining about the fact that characters' hair is so long that it obscures their silhouette, and every single character has really long hair. This game is not afraid to give their female characters short hair, which I am happy to see. It's good for variety's sake. But I wish they had more than one haircut for people with short hair. The bob, I get that that is realistic, and I get that a lot of real people have a bob as a haircut. We could do something a little more specific, maybe. Twin tails donkey would be very cute. Maybe short, low twin tails. Yeah, or like little braids. No, bald is not an option. No. I don't think bald is the solution, potentially. And yeah, she does have more fun hair in most of her alternate designs, it seems like. But... Whoops, hang on. We've got singing happening. Go away. No singing. Hello, can I have a mouse? No sing. There is bald, but bald is awesome. Is this another one? Have I set you off again? I think I have. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna guess that is what that is. God, really, wow, there is a brain rot for like every single thing I could possibly say, isn't there? Intriguing. Wow, yep, chat at 1,000,000 miles an hour? That's okay, alright. We'll move on to the next fella. Speaking of Ishmael, I saw somebody say Ishmael in chat earlier. Let's get Ishmael in here for Ishmael Blind Obsession. Hi, Ishi. Was that Rodion who calls her Ishi? I can't remember. Sorry about fellow fans. Don't worry about it. I ain't bothered. It's just, I see that happening and I react to it as if it's people like speaking to me. Yeah. Very monochrome. Love these colors. Okay. Let's see. I feel like this is going to be one that is pretty comparable to the one that we saw before. We saw the Pequod captain, Ishmael, on a previous stream, because it's lore related for her. Blind Obsession. Let's see how this differs. Oh, there's the whale. Wait, is there a whale abnormality that they have used for this one? Because that would be fantastic. There we go. Don't mind me doing my setup. Man, I wish that I had more time to have prepared these in advance for today. That's okay. Yes, dream devouring silt current. That's a name. Devours dreams. Man, that whale in Moby Dick sure does devour dreams also. That makes sense to me. Let's find... Whoa. Huge, huge anchor. I kind of love the color design we have going on here. The fact that they've tinted the ends of her hair green is kind of lovely. Because it's not the same undertone. Sorry, I'm putting your anchor off screen. It's just too big. It's not the same undertone as the other teals in her design, which makes it more interesting for it. There we go. Let me give you a little outline so I can see you maybe. Will black work? No, white was probably better for this one. Because you have so much that's in a flat black in shadow. So many spot blacks happening here. And then finally, let's grab your dream devouring silt current. Enemy. Oh, this is a bop. What is this song? I like this song. Ooh, okay. I feel like this is what I am hoping for more when I'm seeing interpretations of characters where they're taking an existing character or creature and then interpreting it into a design. This feels more like this creature inspired her design as opposed to the fact that she is just a one-to-one recreation of it, which is what some of the other egos have felt like visually. And granted, in this capacity, the fact that this is not humanoid definitely forced their hand with that one. But I think it might be good that they forced their hand. It's released during her own canto and still is one of the coolest ego animations. Interesting. They usually are. You just pick the humanoid ones. Ah, okay. Sample bias, my beloved. Hopefully my sample biasing of the other ones I picked will provide us a little bit more of that, maybe. Because it does seem like they are getting more creative, yeah, with the non-humanoid ones. Which I'm happy to see. I'm here for it. So, let's see. Let's get our cold read, which first things first, right off the bat, very obviously, she's a captain. There's no question about that at all. She's wearing a captain's hat. She has, the things that I never remember the name to. Scratches my head. Oh. Usually I'm asking you guys if you're proud of me, but I should ask you guys if you're disappointed in me, because tell me what these are called. Tassets? Epaulettes? One of those. No, tacet is the thing that hangs down. Epaulette is, I think, the word, yeah. Man, that's my favorite word to forget. It's not a pauldron, but I do call it a pauldron often. But epaulettes, we have sort of the classic commanders. I don't even know what these are called, but that rope that military style high-ranking individuals wear, coming across her chest. Oh, wait, hang on, there's motifs, wait! Oh, wait, hang on, I like this one a lot, actually. The teeth, which runs down the entire inside of the mouth of this abnormality, are forming the collar of her vest. That's a good use of motif. Yay! Dress code cords, is that really all they're called? That's so funny. But this is the first time where I'm seeing, like, clear integration of motifs of a creature into a design. Like, these little things here could very well be what the little tassels hanging off the epaulette is, which would be interesting, which would be good. And they did do the thing that I asked them to do, which I see somebody saying also, which is that they gave her a little more of a jellyfish cut, so that way her silhouette around her head is stronger. No singing. No singing on my good shroomy stream. Neon lights on her back. No singing! Go away! Why are we singing still? Stop! No more. Audio jungle! Try this. There. That seems fine. Yeah. Funny because it was Ishmael singing in the first one. She wanted to hang out. She wanted to come see us. There we go. So, alright. I will say there's a couple of slightly odd things happening here, but overall, there's some things that I'm really excited to see occurring. First thing. Focal point. Her hair is orange, which already made her head very focal. Oh my god, it's still singing! Help! Audio jungle! Audio jungle! Just pick different one. Check if it's instrumental. None of these things say instrumental on them. There we go. Okay, try again. Third time's the charm. Okay, let me try and speak again. So, the focal point is focal pointing. The orange is used so much more sparingly in this design to great effect. The fact that we're gradating from a color that appears much more prominently in the design to a color that isn't featured as prominently in the design up around the face is really good for guiding the eye. Also, the fact that we're using an undertone that doesn't appear elsewhere in the hair is interesting. Good for color depth. Adds a little bit of pizzazz that makes it feel interesting to us. It makes it feel like it's got more intention in the design. The green, which also almost feels like algae in some capacity. Like her hair has been soaking in the water. She's going through it maybe. Not taking care of it. She's got a little bit of mildew growing her hair. Yeah. So, focal point immediately, right? First thing off the bat, full points. I'm looking at her head. I'm not really having much trouble. I will say there is a funny thing happening if secondarily is a focal point. Can you guys tell me what the secondary focal point is here? If you look at this, what would you say the secondary focal point is? Where are the gnomes when we need them? I know! Where are my gnomes? They could hang out. Yeah, what is the secondary focal point if not the hair? If it's not the hair is the primary focal point, which is up around the face, which is where we want it. I would say as far as silhouette goes, yeah, the anchor would be really focal. But, man, her pants being the anchor's not a part of the character. The anchor is not physically attached to her. It is not a part of her being. It doesn't count. Her pants! The fact that it is the biggest flat plane of this teal color in the whole design makes it really focal. And the fact that it is surrounded by really dark things. It's not stealing our attention, thankfully, which the head is still primary, but the secondary focal point is like right here, unfortunately, which is not fantastic. I do see them being mostly in shadow here is making them less focal. It does look like she's wearing a little bit of diaper though, which is sort of strange. But I feel that we could have just made this a slightly darker teal and not had trouble, potentially. Could have been okay. Yeah, the fact that the teal's running down the inside completely is sort of throwing me off also. It running down the underside of the arms is nice. It's just a little opportunity for some added interest, and that'll also help with clarity if she has her arms at her side. That way her sleeves aren't dissolving into her jacket. So I can understand why they would do that. But I do wonder if there might be some way that this blue in the center of the design could be used to a greater extent that doesn't make it the secondary focal point. 'Cause it's just a little strange that that's happening. Yeah, there are two focal points, primary and secondary. Primary is the most important thing, which is usually what we should be looking at first and foremost in a design, should be the face. The secondary focal point should usually be something that is important to our understanding of the character. So the secondary focal point here would maybe want to be the coat or the hat or something of that capacity. Once again, the anchor is not a part of her. The anchor is not a part of her. It's an accessory. It's completely separate. It's another object. Less of a focal point, more like a focal region. Yeah, it is sort of creating a focal region in the lower part of her body. But the fact that it's not primary means that I'm not going to count against it. It's alright. Inner lining from teal to just being sort of trim or stitching being teal might help. Yeah, if it was just a trim, that might benefit maybe. Yeah. FYI, if you get any Millie songs on the playlist, ones with vocals, minus any Kanto-specific pass-on, they don't copyright claim their songs on video, so if you do get claimed, it was automatic and they'll drop the claim if you dispute it. Huh. Good to know. Well, thank you for letting me know. That might have been why I've been safe thus far, because I haven't actually had any trouble despite the fact that we have accidentally had a couple seconds of some copyrighted songs before. And if the pants is supposed to mirror the teeth of the dolphin, maybe if they followed this pattern a little bit more, I might believe you. Is this running down the underside? It might be. But in that case, I feel like the tie is doing a similar function. We don't need that to be everywhere, mayhaps. Orca? Yeah, I would say I don't think this is a dolphin. I was reading something. I don't know if this is a dolphin. I would read this not even as an orca. This is a sea leviathan of some capacity. Should we check the gallery of what? For the abnormality? Yeah, it's I mean, it's whale-like. I don't know any whales that have Fins that look particularly like that, but it's just an oversized sea leviathan fish-esque creature. So, for color design, this is not a monochromatic design because her hair is orange. It'd be monochromatic if everything was this teal or some variation of teal, but we even have another undertone of green here. So I would say that this is a very interesting way to handle a color palette that at first glance wants you to think it's monochromatic. It wants you to think it's really pared down, because it kind of is. They've just been more specific about the way they're using their color choice for this one, to great effect. This is the sort of thing that I think I was missing in their base designs, where we've just added color depth through the fact that this color isn't exactly the same as this color is. Do you see what I mean? They're not exactly the same. Kind of a little variety. And that's kind of all I wanted from their uniforms too, is that having all of them have the exact same tone of red, despite the fact that it is a uniform, we could just do a little bit with temperature to make them a little bit different, maybe, if we can. Yeah. So then, concept motifs. Is there anything more to this? I mean, we're definitely going for a direct tie-in to her literature. We've got the great whale, the big old whale, the destroyer of dreams whale, the destroyer of Ishmael and Ahab and all of them is the whale, in fact. So I think it makes sense that we have the dream devouring silt current as the thing that's going on. Obsession. Is the other angle. Obsession. Obsession is sort of hard to convey. No, I know, yeah, this is called blind obsession. I think that is more so coming from the literary basis, where if you know Moby Dick, you understand that the captain, Ahab, has a blind obsession with hunting the whale. Therefore, by the fact that we have taken Ishmael and made her the captain, we are going to sort of make that connection that, okay, now she is taking on some of the role of Ahab, where she has the obsession. So I think we're getting it on that angle as well. Her eyes are covered. I guess she does have the sort of yandere eyes and shadow situation a little bit, but other characters have had that before in this game when that's not the angle they're going for, maybe. Luminescence hints at it. Oh, wait, so the luminescence maybe is also hinting at the fact that we are so deep down in the ocean that we can't see any longer. We have bioluminescence or just glowing things because that's the only source of light we have access to in this capacity, too. Love seeing somebody with media literacy. Thanks. Note the rods on the abnormality. What are the rods on the abnormality? It seems like they're arcing up over the top of it, like radially. If we were looking at it from the front, it seems like they would be arcing across the front. Are these just tube lights? They kind of seem that way. Yeah, glow sticks? Yeah. Fluorescent lamps, neons. Okay, yeah, fluorescent bulbs. That's kind of funny. But I guess that does make sense if we have a creature that has manufactured its own way of having a light down in the deep depths, mayhaps. They explode. Okay. Obsession, the whale follows it sinking further below. Abnormalities are conceptual in nature. Yeah, I would imagine, yes. Flotsams in the fight. They float in the sea. So referring to the abnormality itself, dream devouring silt current, not Ishmael or Ryoshu, the two sinners with the ego. Yeah, okay. Wait. Okay, I see. So I'm going to guess that both of them take on the blind obsession when they are going this direction. But I think this is a good tie-in for the literary source of this character. I would give this full points for concept. I don't think I missed anything here. I think from an outsider's perspective, I'm able to read most of what their intent here is pretty clearly, I would say. That the metal rods were a reference to sea mines. Ooh, they could also be a reference to sea mines, especially if they're exploding. Wow, we're getting a lot of congruent design in here where we have a lot of overlap between what the elements are conveying to us. We are getting luminescence, we are getting the rods that are in a radial format. They almost, to me, also feel a little bit, since they're stabbing this creature, like a harpoon in some capacity, which does relate to whaling again. There's a lot of overlap here, which is clever. This is probably one of the favorite ones I've looked at so far for me personally, removing bias from it, but it is one of the stronger ones for sure. Silhouette. We didn't talk silhouette yet. For her silhouette, let's ignore her anchor. Go away. We don't need you around here. must sound like I'm losing my mind to most of you. Also reference to sea mines. When attached from the whale, their reference is flotsam. Wow, a lot of layers to the execution of this one, which I'm very happy to see. I feel like some of these were missing layers, or if they had them, I was missing them. It was just something that I wasn't able to read myself, which skill issue if that is the case. But I feel like there's a little bit more, I feel like there's a little more depth to this one than some of the other ones had. Clip that. Weep. And then stop doing that. So her silhouette here, I would say, is still very comparable to her silhouette, her base silhouette. The jacket isn't really adding very much, but they do have a little bit more of the hair silhouette that I was hoping for, with it being a little more jellyfish cut, reference to ocean, but also that adds a little more definition around the heads. The hair shape's a little more specific, so she's not just random girly with long hair. I fear that she is still kind of just random girly with long hair. Yeah, this is just Ishmael with a hat. Her pants don't really add a lot, but that's because they're grounded. General's pants don't really add a lot to silhouette anyway. But I still feel like there's some missed opportunity here. I wish, as much as this is like terrible as a sentence, they should have speared her. I almost wish they had given her those like radiating fluorescent tubes, because that adds a lot to silhouette. And in an interesting way, it does make her feel a little bit more fish-like too. Look at the corrosion. You'll love the corrosion then. Oh, wait, is it really? Does it really? Are you telling me that her corrosion has that in it? Has a dorsal fin? Did I copy and paste her corrosion in here? I didn't. I gotta find her again. I'm actually so happy about that. Oh, wait, she fully turns into a creature for the corrosion. Where is she? She just turns into it seems like. Hang on. There we go. Oh, I wish she had it for her, like, humanoid version, her non-corroded version, but look at this fella. Oh, the rope is good for silhouette, too. The silhouette is stronger on the fish. The orange being worked in. This is neat. This one is very interesting. Hang on. Yeah, fish male. She becomes the whale. Oh, no. Ahab would not like that. There we go. Let me get an outline on here so we can attempt to be able to see it, maybe. I guess I could just go like this also. Man, clarity is the thing I'm fighting against just with my backgrounds right now. There we go. Neat. She does have her rope in this one. Yeah, the knot has come across. Yeah, her headband has come through, which I'm gonna guess is also a part of this too. I'm gonna guess that that rope is also what the rope on her chest is, potentially. But do we see how here the rope is adding to the silhouette, and how the lights are adding to the silhouette, and the teeth add to the silhouette? Her tongue is an anchor. It's very, yeah, it is all very symbolic. The fact that the fins are all tattered adds to silhouette. They've paid a lot of attention to the silhouette in this design in a way that I feel like they haven't quite done in this version. And I get that because this is the corroded version, they can be a little bit more exaggerated with it, perhaps. But, oh, harpoon instead of anchor, you're right. That might actually be a harpoon instead of an anchor. That's a really wide harpoon head, though. I don't think they're usually that wide. But, yeah, they can go a little bit wilder in the corrosions. Yeah. You said that right after I said it. Nice. Experimental anchor. Huge in this form. Barely see this thing for 2 seconds, but yeah, so much detail. So, I wish we had more of that going on in the base design here, because her silhouette, I fear, is still the weakest thing going on here, and I'm so sad to do this. I really want to give her a high score, but we're grading her character design, not the corroded versions. So, yeah, I did the brain note on purpose that time. I can now use this against you. I can now destroy my own chat if I so wish. Majoko? Minun, and Seaweed of Sea Wigs, and Somnia Virient. Thank you guys for following. I'm a little behind on reading the thank yous. I apologize. I'm trying to focus. I go by Maimun. Thank you for telling me. I appreciate it. 10 out of 10. Never? Never what? Hi, Revity. Oh, I see you saying other ones. Oh, I know the ones. Oh, don't worry. I'll set people off on the ones I do know later. Don't worry. We'll get there. We'll get there. Complexity versus clarity. Once again, I am happy about the level of specificity in this design as well, where they have paid special attention to the way that the style of like captain's outfit works, adding this motif around the collar to be the jaws. Beautiful. Mwah, chef's kiss. We love to see a motif coming in from the inspirational source into the design. The fact that she's got the ropes and her buttons and things like that. There's no specificity here. Okay, I guess you can't look anymore. Made butter chicken. Not to brag, but it's delish. Oh, okay. I'm happy for you, Rarity. I wish we had butter chicken. I don't eat chicken, but I wish we had it anyway, because I remember how tasty it was. Especially around giving a quick look at Ahab, especially her gas harpoon ego. I did want to look at Ahab and Queequeg really quickly, so we can just look at them quick. I'm not going to grade them. I just wanted to see them, but I will T-pose on you just a little bit. Level of detail. I am yearning for a little bit more what they're doing in that motif. A little more. I feel like if we were to bring over these elements into this version, or the rope adding more to silhouette, that would add some of the level of detail that I'm looking for here, where a lot of the details are either really big or really small. We don't have a lot of mid-sized detail here. So what is this? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8.5 out of 10? This is the only one I didn't guess right. I gave this one a 10 out of 10 on the thumbnail, I think. But honestly, that's still pretty good. This is the true tell, though, of the fact that the rubric does keep me from being biased, because this was my favorite one that I had seen. But it did not get the highest score, so there we go. Yippee! Okay, so those were the 3 that I wanted to make sure we got through. Some of the other ones that I had listed... Oh wait, yeah, actually, I just want to look really quickly at Ishmael and Queequeg just to see what they look like and see if I have any really quick thoughts about them. Or not Ishmael, Ahab. Ahab. There we go. Your rubric is biased against coats. I don't think my rubric is biased against coats per se. I would say that in an Edna Mode-esque fashion, having things that are really that big and obscuring are both impractical and not effective in silhouette. Call me Edna if you want. I know I have a, to put in say-so terminology, a frick butt bob. Just like her, and I apparently am also really short like her right now. But yeah, no capes, no coats, no giant hair also. Also, there's an Ishmael from before she grew her hair out. Yeah, I saw that version when we looked at her on stream. Oh, and this is interesting because we looked at Ishmael's ID at one point that is also based on Ahab. Oh, I love how gnarled they made her. Let me change this canvas size so I can see her just a little better. So I did hear, maybe for lore reasons, that Ishmael grew her hair out as a result, maybe? Or, not as a result, but maybe as a result of the influence of Ahab? Because Ahab has really big, long, storm-like hair. This is like stormy water. This is what I'm talking about. Why are some of the more interesting design conventions happening in the NPCs? We saw this before. The hair turning into storm is so interesting. What are the red and blue things crisscrossing everywhere? They almost seem like net, but I'm not certain. The clothing is in quite the state of disarray, unfortunately. Ahab being corrupted by the white whale. They're veins? That's blood vessels? Oh. God, okay. She's infected. Veins, the white is flesh? Oh, God, okay. Flesh growing on her. It's from the pallid whale. Oh, okay, alright, I see. I was just assuming regular damage and that this was like blue and red netting that they made colored so we could see it against the body, but I guess it probably is also, once again, congruent design, where we have a mesh-like netting of veins and arteries, which is kind of... and flesh all over her. Interesting. The whale here infects people and material devours. Oh boy, okay. Symbolically being eaten by her obsession. Interesting, okay. Apparently there's a version of her, maybe, that doesn't have it. This version of her is called palidified. Yeah, there we go. Pre-palidification. What a phrase. Here we go. So now I can see the difference. Oh, the color undertone change is interesting too. Are these not exactly the same size? That's so annoying. This is slightly smaller. Yeah, so they've grimed her up. But her silhouette, I will say, is so much stronger than most other characters because do you see how big and exaggerated her cap is? Which is almost alluding to the fact that Ahab as a captain is maybe not fit to be wearing that role. It's too big of a role for him. He is too narrow-minded in his focus, and he does not fit into that role. Similarly, the coat feels a little bit big too. Very interesting take on a peg leg also, which is something that is commonly associated with pirates or mariners of some capacity, making it a harpoon as well. He is crafting himself, or she is, in a capacity that just makes more and more of her body. Sorry, I know this is a woman, but Ahab is a man in the book. So it's hard for my brain to figure that one out. This is like trying to talk about the Uma Musumes also. Sorry, I'm not intentionally misgendering her. We're doing the Uma Musume situation of this is a female horse representing, or female girl. This is a female girl, yeah. This is a girl character representing a male origin. Get there, yeah, I got it. Yeah, they really should make Ahab a horse. Oh, I'm losing it. So, a horsib. Oh no. Harpoon is part of the palidification version only, actually. It's like a cane without. Hang on, but this is the unpalidified version I'm looking at right now that does have it. Oh, wait, hang on. It's just because it's behind her. I lied. Are you sure? I shouldn't have been sure. Yeah, you're right. So we're going to turn the other one off. I overlaid it. My fault. My B. Oopsie. Sorry, Your Honor. I committed whoopsie. I'm just a little guy. It happens. To the best of us. But I guess with the palidification as she is becoming more and more obsessed, the fact that she is even turning the elements that are like assistive technology to her into something that becomes a weapon to serve her in her single-minded goal does make sense from a character design standpoint. Man, she's so exaggerated. If I were to really quickly give her a grade... Oh, and her tie is loose too, so we can see she's a little rough around the edges where she's straying even further from perfection. Her clothing is worn. She's an aging captain. Oh, there's so much good storytelling happening here in the design. Single-minded goal means a blind obsession. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to not say the exact words that are the words you use for it, but yes, she does have a blind obsession. I would say so. Rank bosses next time. I will say, unfortunately, this is our last foray into I almost said Lethal Company. Where are we again? Have I lost my mind? I said female woman or girl woman, and I think my entire brain emptied. We're at Limbus Company. Not to be confused with Lethal Company or Lobotomy Corporation, other co's that start with an L. Good golly. Okay, I got it. I'm not losing it. Really quickly, a grade for her. Conceptually, fantastic. Beautiful, lovely. No questions. I can tell that this is Ahab. Very easily. For focal points, her head is pretty focal, once again, because it's the only thing that is that sort of like peach undertone color, but they've done a good job of making the gold on her hat stand out more, and there's more exaggeration up here too, although I do tend to look down there a little bit too, but I would say that her face is pretty focal. Complexity versus clarity, I'm not having any issues understanding the edges of her design, and it seems like there's more specificity in her outfit than it seems like in other characters, which is kind of bugging me. For silhouette, her hair is so much more interesting than other characters. We'll use this one because her peg leg in this circumstance is better. There we go. Nope. Sorry, I sent her to the void. There. We could take this character design outside of Limbus Company And we would know who it is immediately. Without question. Even, I think, without that, even with just the regular peg leg, her hair shape, the way that it curls up at the ends is so specific. Her hat being bigger and more exaggerated, all of these things happen. Yeah, Ahab's so good we're getting a free extra grade, whoops. Silhouette, passes. The curly hair, yeah, is really good for this. And then color palette. Here, there's a good variety of undertone, which is the other thing I had a critique about in other uniforms. Do we see how this still feels like a grounded uniform, despite the fact that it is teal, and then also green, but this is a slightly warmer green? Yeah. Don't talk about Roblox kids? Why are we talking about Roblox kids? Huh? Is this in relation to her? I don't know what that means. Can we look at her gas harpoon sprite? Oh, we gotta focus. I can't look at more things or we're never gonna get through more than a couple of sinners because it's 4:30 already. Yes. It's just about community? Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. I won't. But color palette, there's interesting depth. We've got teal moving towards greens that are a little bit warmer in nature. We've got gold, we have orange, we have the undertone of her hair, which is more, it's like a gray blue almost in the back of her hair. She's got a good variety of color throughout. Is she the highest grade so far? She might be tied with another NPC for being the highest grades, which is crazy that the NPCs have higher grades than the playable characters. Limbus, what is going on here? That is so interesting. She kind of rocks though. Yeah, the NPC design goes really hard for this game, seemingly. There's another NPC. I think her name is Chiron? Right? Is she the bus driver? Or she's something with the bus? Who also has a very interesting design too. Man, I want to look at the NPCs. I kind of like want to look at the NPCs more than I want to look at the EGOs in some capacity, but we should look at them. Round 4. No, we can't! I can't do a whole month of just Limbus Company. We'll come back for Limbus Company again someday, but I yearn to do other things. Also, wait! Gnomes! They blessed us with their appearance. Forgot how goofy and squeaky they are. That's my gnome impression. Can I get a score out of 10? How's my gnome impression? Stream 4, NPCs of Limbus Company. No, we've already looked at a bunch of them, but I feel like we're gonna look at the ones that I wanted to look at anyway in advance already. Get gnome removes. We can't just review the gnomes. 8.3 out of 10, too much wee, not enough wah. Music is crazy. This does, once again, make me feel like my brain is liquidating. Let's look at Queequeg really quickly. Not now, Clockhead. I see unattended gnome up ahead. Uh-oh. No, we're not critiquing. Okay. Okay, fine. Fine. If I just type gnome. Yeah, okay. Is there any other sprite other than this one? Is there another sprite? Ahab is 9.5 out of 10, not 8. Oh wait, whoops, sorry, you're right. I am so sorry, Ahab. I could not believe I've done this to you. Queen. Quite a few more. Okay, let's see. Let's find out. Ah, okay. All right. Because we asked so nicely, this is an intentional. I am going incredibly off track. Gnome. That's a leafy gnome. God, this is a cherry gnome. Oh, God. That's horrifying. And shadow gnome. I love their really fantastic, not at all dangerous weapons, and I love that this one specifically is smaller than the others for some reason. And then we have the boss, who is just kind of Santa. Beautiful, lovely, fantastic. Why can't I paste him in? Please. Please! I guess I'm not allowed. Copy? Okay, we can't have the boss, I guess. Project Moon Squeiji. What about it? Look at them. So, the grade really quickly that I think is going to be the same across the board for them. They have a good distinct silhouette as a funny little creature. Thank you for the Aka Super. Yes, gnomes is true. Thank you, extra fake dude. I appreciate it. They are little guys, but for the fact that they are a little guy, they've got good specific limb design. They've got repetition in the fact that their ears mimic their limb shape for their arms. All of them seem to wear a hat of some capacity. Maybe not every single one of them, but a bunch of them have a limb somewhere, or a hat somewhere in here. I'm trying to grade them. But thank you for Prime subscription, Gravy Singer. You only get one of those a month, and I'm honored you'd use it for me. Peak Ome. Showmates, can we rotate? We weren't rotating earlier for the Supas that were in chat, but we should be rotating for them, and I forgot. I've been so distracted this stream, it's so hard to focus. Here we go. You can see my rotation on Twitch. We don't have animated emotes on YouTube, unfortunately, but little rotation on Twitch for all the fellows who are kind enough to give me a little bit of shmoney. There we go. Yeah, rotation. So, silhouette-wise, as a little guy, I think this one, as being a base form, sort of highlights it better than the others, because the others are wearing hats. But as a base silhouette, very specific ear shape, very specific limb shape and foot shape. I feel like I'd recognize this gnome outside of this series, ignoring the funny little weapon he has. Oh, this is a Millie song. I'm not going to risk my things, though, because having a voice in the back of my head will make me confused. Silhouette. Pass. Where's my brush? Help. Silhouette. Pass. Color palette. I'd like a little more undertone variety. They're simple, but we can have a little bit more variety. Complexity versus clarity. They're a mascot character. They don't need a lot of information happening. They can be pared down like that, and I would say the fact that they have customized each version. This one has different body shape with the ears being down. This one has a really horrible gaping maw of a mouth. Good level of detail for the fact that it's a little I know they're not mascots, but they're a mascot type of character. Focal points. It is the eyes, because there's not a lot going on here, and they are the highest contrast element of each design by the fact that they are gold and glowing. This mouth is also pretty focal, but we're not going to talk about that. These, by being shrouded by the darkness and glowing and being the brightest color, being also the only yellow in this design, is still also pretty focal. Concept and motifs. What is their concept? They're gnomes. And they work for, yeah, union members of the Gnome Union. Oh my. Did anyone remember when we were rating E.G.O? Once upon a time, we did rate E.G.Os. We will, once again, rate E.G.Os. But yeah, they're Santa's little helpers. This accessory makes it abundantly obvious. White and green and red, usually, are hard to get to read as not being Christmas. We usually have that as a problem. We're usually trying to make things that are this combo of colors not feel like Christmas. But in this case, we do want them to feel like Christmas, and they are doing that. Despite being a little bit more muted, which I think tonally makes sense for the series. I don't think there's any question about what they are, so I would say that, once again, gnomes, 9.5 out of 10. I think that's a respectable grade for a funny little guy. Can we live with this? Is that good? This was our major tangent, so that way now we'll be nothing but focused. Peak Ome. This wasn't a very serious critique or grade. It was just a note there. Oh? I have a hype train? Question mark? How did that happen? Be a little late there, hype train? Were you supposed to show up when the Prime sub happened, maybe? Or something else not loading? Oh, wait, yeah, it's 31% of the way there. Intriguing. Oh, yeah, that is what it was. Thank you for the Prime sub again, I guess. Yeah, Queequeg really fast, and then we'll get back to... the other fellas. Oh, no! Queequeg! Queequeg's palette, too! Oh, poor guy. I mean, not guy. I forget that they're all women in this one. Poor guy in the sense of you were a dude in the book. I know you are not a dude in this circumstance. my brain is always going to suggest that in some capacity. Ooh, the hair design is kind of interesting. Let's grab a background color. I'm not going to grade Queequeg just because, for time's sake, we'll never get anywhere. Doomed Yuri? Did they make Queequeg and Ishmael in love? Did they make them in love? Please tell me they made them in love. Yes, they did. Oh, fantastic. Good. Okay. Implied? You know, that is relevant to the source material. I don't know how many of you guys were here when we talked about my experiences with Moby Dick in a prior stream. But I have some thoughts about Moby Dick, because when I was in high school, not only did I read Moby Dick in its original form, I also read my 80-something-year-old English teacher's version of it, which was a complete, total rewrite that she gave us in a binder. I beg your finest pardon? Yeah. So, yeah, my teacher's fan fiction of it, as many of us referred to it as, did mostly just modernize the language being used, but it did really hammer home a couple of things, which were the fact that she really, really, really leaned into the relationship between Queequeg and Ishmael, because there is some implied level of relationship between the two of them in the source material. I can see it. It's there. But man, she made them lovers in her fanfic version. It was lovely. It was so funny. And my friend and I, who were the only art students in the class, would draw her, like, fan art of them, essentially. Like, just hanging out. She liked that. She accepted that for extra credit, which was fantastic. But we did call, sort of the funniest point of this was the fact that we called the fan fiction version that she had written. You know, Moby Dick is the name of the main book. That second word there is a silly word that can mean multiple things. So we called the fanfiction version Moby, a false version, a stand-in even for that second word in the title of Moby Dick. So yeah, nope, not duck. That's not the word. A false, nope, not rooster. No, you guys are very innocent, and I'm happy to hear it because we are say-so around these parts. Don't say the word, but if you know it, you can think about it. It's just funny. Yeah. Moby shaboing boy. Yeah, I'll say that. That's what it was. That's close enough. That gets you on the right page for it. Yeah, Richard. Yeah. Yes, something of that capacity. So, that's why I have strong feelings about us looking at all these characters. Anyways! Queequeg! Girly, your clarity isn't as fantastic because a lot of your clothing has the same value as your hair color does, unfortunately. Me slurp up all of your saturation. Layer. Correction layer. Here. No saturation for you! Do we see how? Not a lot of contrast here. We could probably use a little more contrast, which all I'm meaning by that is that we need some of the brightest brights in the metallic pieces maybe to be a little bit brighter. Her hair could go darker, so that way it contrasts against the vest a little bit more clearly. We need a little more. Little more variety. Her silhouette, I will say, is very different than anyone else's because she is the first character I think we've seen who is so, like, stocky, I guess, in silhouette. Like, her arms are very thick, as are her legs. Her shoulders are pretty broad. Yeah, she's very buff compared to all the other characters, so that does make her distinct in that capacity. But I fear that outside of this world, I don't know how memorable she would be. The rope adds the silhouette in an interesting way. Her hair has a little bit of positive negative space interplay, but it's not quite there. Could maybe use a little more. Yeah, I'm borrowing the T-Core tech. I don't know what that means, but apparently it's what I'm doing. I believe you. Do more often their case. Oh, most of the... What? I don't know what you mean by that. Also, June, thank you for following. So it is kind of spiky. I will say that is true, which... Oh, I'm trying to remember what Ishmael is... Or not Ishmael, what Queequeg is like in Moby Dick. Because this would allude to the fact that despite the fact that she is seemingly kind of sturdy and very squared off in her angles that makes her dependable. I know that Queequeg was one of the preferred harpooners, I believe, in the book. In this circumstance, I'm going to guess that this means there's a little bit more to her than that, where she's a little bit spinier. Things are maybe a little bit unfortunate. She's got edges to her as well. More than meets the eye, mayhaps, also. Okay. Thank you for following. I appreciate it. Queequeg is a fine harpooner. I see. So, generally those are my thoughts. Anyways, which one should we do next? So, I had a bunch of egos we could look at. We already did Outis Magic Bullet. We looked at that one before. I have Hex Nail for Rodion. I have Mersault's Pursuance, I think. There's a couple. Ryoshu? It seems Ryoshu. Rodion Hex Nail's fun. Rodion, holy moly. Okay, we seem excited about Rodion, so maybe we'll get Rodion. We'll get Rodion next then, in here. And by that I mean Rodion? I learned how to say it last week, but I don't remember already, unfortunately. I was calling her Rodion because that's the diminutive of her name, which is a nickname. Ryoshu is great too. Ryoshu. Contempt Awe was the one I had pulled for Ryoshu, although we could have another one maybe. People love Rodion's focal points. Oh, is this gonna be the first one where I have to complain about focal point? Let's see. Which one is it? That's not it. Oh, interesting. What is this one? Ooh, hang on. This is interesting. This is one of the ones I didn't look at in advance. So I do have a truly cold read from this one. Whoops. Hang on. No movie. Create from clipboard. There she is. Hex Nail, Rodion, do Yearning, Merkala, Mersault. We should get Mersault in here. We looked at Gregor. We looked at a lot of egos for before. So I don't know if we're going to bring Gregor back here today. Who did we not look at an ego for? We looked at egos for a couple of characters in the first stream. Cutie patootie. Okay, let me grab this. Oh, she looks so happy. Despite the fact that there's definitely something unsavory happening. Hello, can I have this? Copy. Paste. There we go. The color is so different. I was so much more excited by the purple undertones. Is the purple the corrupted one maybe? No. Or corrosion, not corrupted. Oh, and they're swapping places for the corroded one. Come here, come back down here, don't run away. There. Oh, wait, nope. Why am I not able to copy and paste things? Happy birthday? Wait, was her birthday 2 days ago too? Happy birthday, Rodion. That's funny that I was 2 days away from it. Purple's the lighting, sadly. No! No! The purple would be so fun and interesting, and I feel like it'd be so good for the fact that this seems like something that's drawing a lot more of like a childlike wonder and joy, despite the fact that it is also incredibly creepy. They're sort of going for that duality. We, as a humanity, we hate when the elements that we associate so closely with our childhood, which are supposed to be soft and gentle and nurturing and pleasant, and things that we look back on fondly, when we alter them, when we modify them, when we make them uncanny, make them strange, that does set off all the fun little horror receptors we have in our brain. So it is definitely working in that capacity already, but if they had the purple as the color for it, for her dress, that would be so good for playing up that angle even further. Come on. If you had a nice childhood. Yeah, no, I know. That's a general broad statement. I can't speak to everyone's childhood, but that's generally the reason why people are bothered by the way that childhood elements are altered. It's the reason why when you hear like nursery rhymes slowed down, you hear children's voices slowed down or maybe like chopped as audio, that's why it sets off those sort of uncanny feelings within us. So let me keep formatting. I like that they're reversing their roles here, where she seems to be controlling the teddy bear and then the teddy bear takes over. Let me grab, let's see. Hurting teddy bear, rather. Pardon. Hurting teddy bear. Oh, so it is just the teddy bear she has here already with her. I don't know if I really need to pull it in. Which seems like a teddy bear that is being used. Whoops. Why isn't it letting me copy things properly? It seems like she's using the teddy bear almost in a voodoo doll-esque fashion, or at least that's the way I'm thinking about it. Whoa, what is happening? Because of the way the nails are driven through it, it's stitched up. We don't tend to usually see objects impaling stuffed animals. Hello? What is happening? Unless it is something of that capacity. And it is hurting the teddy bear for sure, as I would imagine. Oh man, the yarn being the stand-in for guts is really a good overlap too, where it feels really gnarled and mangled and sinewy in a way that feels like gore, but isn't quite gore. So interesting. And that's coming over here for her design as well, where it seems like we're seeing a gap in her dress, where we're seeing her inner workings as well. And that makes her tie feel just a little bit more sinister too. So for my cold read, I do think that we are sort of getting the sense of, you know, she seems really happy. There's some childhood angle here. I'm going to guess that because this toy has been left for so long, it has reached a state of decay, and the fact that she seems to almost be taking the elements from it, I'm wondering if she is like, that's a common thing that I think we associate with children as well and children's toys, a la Toy Story. So I'm wondering if there's an abandonment aspect. Also something about control too happening, and the fact that she is controlling the bear or the bear is controlling her, maybe. So something is, yeah. So something is relating to control too. Oh, Tree Dude, thank you for the super. In game, if you mouse over her corroded form, she pretends to smile, fits her pretending to be happy vibe. Oh yeah, I'm seeing in the chat also, I forgot that her bit is that she wants to feel special. Not bit, but like the overarching theme of her character is that she wants to feel special. So is she feeling like she was abandoned, maybe? And she is not feeling special, or she's still trying to smile through it, maybe? Definitely an abandonment. Okay. Corroded form, the bear controlled her. Think of abused toy as a symbolism for abusive relationship. Oh no, the bear wants to love but doesn't know how to. Is it like a hedgehog's dilemma situation where by trying to love someone and to convey that feeling to others, we are instead wounding them? Because I do see the nails. I have too many things on the background. See how the nails are sticking out? This poor creature, if it wanted to hug you, would in fact harm you. Bear hugs and the spikes hurt the person. Okay, I see that. That makes sense in the design to me. Man, look at this silhouette. Look at the silhouette. Look at the silhouette. We would be able to identify this character as being the hurting teddy bear, even if we were looking at this character alongside enemies from other games in all likelihood, because all of these nails add so much to the silhouette. There's so much weight formed by the way that the arms are exaggerated to such a degree. The way that they've specifically sculpted the ears and the angles to all be so angular really gives it an edge where if they were nice and round and fluffy, we wouldn't get that sort of depressed, abandoned, sad angle that we're getting so much more clearly here too. Inverse of the hedgehog dilemma? Nails were added by the person who first owned and abandoned it. The abused toy. Oh no! Rodion hugs strong like bear. Makes both the pain of the teddy and the pain it inflicts on others a result. Amazing for Rodion. Yeah, I see. I'm seeing all of the angles coming together here. Maxwell and Awker, thank you guys for following. Awker Daddy, thank you. I might have, but I can't recall if I did. Also, June, thank you for following. I appreciate it. I'm a little behind. I'm juggling a lot of things right now. But this silhouette, fantastically strong. Her silhouette here is also pretty strong. Oh, they exaggerated her, and I'm so happy. We're not really looking at the bear because the bear is not part of her, but the nails sticking out off the side of her head, her ears, they still made her ears kind of more rounded than I would suggest, but the sleeves with all this positive and negative space, the pose is helping to sell it a lot more too. And if she had her arms down, she would have a similar type of silhouette to what the bear had. Big old ruffles around the bottom edge. I would say this is probably a pretty distinct silhouette here. Thank goodness. I'm so happy. Finally, we're getting a couple. I think this is the first full point silhouette I've given. Or one of. I think we might have given a full point silhouette to Yi Sang's, the one where he has the flowers all over him. I can't remember what it's called. Why are we sweeping? Oh. The worst part, the abnormality has a variant that is an abandoned toy. Oh, poor guy. Hurting teddy bear is the variation. Okay. Spice bush. Yeah, it was spice bush. I couldn't remember what the flower itself was. But yeah, I think we gave full points to that silhouette. So there's two of them. Mayhaps. Abnormality design is also really a banger. Honestly, I am more interested in the abnormalities designs than I am by some of the egos, but I would say this is probably one of the stronger egos for silhouette. But man, I really wish they would have gone for these purples and the pinks. This magenta is giving that one specific reference point, which to me is very prevalent in my mind when I think about trying to veil terror, which is the way that Danganronpa shows blood, which is by making it that really magenta color. Something about it just makes things feel even more uncanny. I'm just doing a really quick recoloring here. Where the fact that they are red does work. But, hang on. This might be more saturated than I want, but here, let me try this. Because if we do switch the colors when she becomes corroded, and she gets to be the grayed out one, like, we don't even have to do a very saturated purple. I just want a color. Coloring this in really quickly. You can't tell me that this would not be intriguing. Look at the Don Quixote. Sweepers. King of Greed. Purple during the attack, pretty sure, but the spotlight kind of makes it more colored, feel like trying to relive the past. We could desaturate it more if we're trying to give a more nostalgia-aligned angle. I was going for more of like the childhood coloration angle, where things that are more colorful seem like they're really bright, and it would help with the fact that she's putting on a front. She's pretending to be really bright, pretending that she's doing great, that she is feeling fantastic, when it seems like she is not truly. It's part of the front she's putting on. She's trying to make us think that she's doing well when she isn't. Grab this color. Yeah. 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 Yeah, there we go. I might have done too much of the purple, but kind of getting the idea here. If I turn this off. Wouldn't that be cute? And we could do it like this if we still want it to be desaturated, like it's been worn and damaged and abandoned, as we were saying. But I feel like this color adds a little more depth, a little bit more interest. Pretending to be purple. Yeah, it's pretending. It really wants to be purple. Matches Apprentice. Rodion, I like it. Okay, intriguing. So, for color, I am disappointed in their choice of colors. It's not a bad color palette. The fact that they still have variation in the undertone. We've got some cooler grays, some warmer grays, and there's the brighter pink. It's fine. It's not a bad color palette, but oh, it could have been more interesting. The fact that I can see what we could have had in this illustration makes me yearn for it all the more. For complexity versus clarity, I would say that this is one of the designs that I think has a really good balance as well. If we look throughout, I didn't really point out all the things that are referenced to the bear. Look, she's got exaggerated bare feet as boots. She's got big stitches across her dress with a big opening in the front so we can show the stitching inside of it. She has repeating texture of her frilled fringes at the bottom, but also underneath and inside of her sleeves. The fact that they're really long and droopy makes it feel like there's something playful about it, but it also is cumbersome. She can't do things because her hands are covered. She's belted up, which we tend to associate with being controlled or being restricted. She's got nails coming out of her head, and the ears feel like they're almost sewed onto her forcibly. There's a really good level of detail here, and all of the details, as I am pointing out, all come back to relate to the concept. Yeah, puppet strings is another element too, yeah. All of these details come back to really hammer home the concept. Even the center of her little bow is a button, which relates to the fun little bear. So for concept, fantastically executed for this one, I would say. It's still pared down. It is still grounded, I would say, in some ways. It's a little more exaggerated than their default designs are, but I think it's all coming together. I think it makes a lot of sense and everything is working together really well. Does Squiiji normally say yearn a lot? I do say yearn a lot. I see you all saying yearn as a result of me saying yearn. I just say that word. It's just how I am. Oh, Frostbite, thank you for the Supa. As Weeby said, the wiki images don't show the VFX on the sprite. I think it helps the purple. Also hoping to look at Contempt All Ryoshu. Was Contempt All on my list? What did I have for Ryoshu on my list? Ooh, we can think about it when we get to the next one. We'll poll for a Ryoshu because we haven't looked at a Ryoshu yet. Oh, I don't even have Ryoshu on my list. Whoopsie, I missed it. Thank you. We can talk about maybe a Ryoshu, perhaps. Maybe we'll see. Thank you for the super though. Contempt all both as an ID and ego. I see. If doing ego awakenings, you're also covering ego corrosions. This is a great question. I don't have the answer to that. I don't actually know. Focal point. Hang on. I gotta focus on getting through this one before we start doing other things. Turn off my edits. Focal point. I will say the focal point is her face still. The fact that her hair is the only thing that is in this warmer undertone, and then her face is still the lightest, brightest element. These things feel sort of grayed out in saturation, and her face is more saturated. Her face and her hair around it is contrasting against everything else pretty well. And I will say that is well handled, because red can be a really incredibly distracting color. It's very high chroma. But the fact that the red is distributed in little pockets all throughout makes it feel less important, and the fact that all of her hair is the only place that this brown occurs, and it's all in one big chunk, makes that all the more important. In the opposite, same deal with her face. So honestly, focally for me, she works, and then secondarily for the focal points are those little red pops. And the little red pops are highlighting the angles where she relates to the abnormality. So, focal point works pretty well. 2, 4, 6, what is this, another 9.5? I would say this is one of the stronger designs I've seen so far. This is probably up there with Blind Obsession Ishmael. Not that excited, and the way your cold read just nailed the concept and abnormality just makes me want to appeal for the bonus point. Oh, are you talking about the bonus points here? I don't usually give these out for game character designs, unfortunately, or fortunately maybe. These are more so where I get to have some level of bias. And I use these more so when we talk about VTuber designs, because that's somewhere where I feel like having bias is more acceptable in this capacity. I try and be a little bit more objective when we're talking about game character designs, because these are designs that went through probably multiple people and multiple checks. So everything that is in these designs should be very intentional and should be something that was confirmed by multiple people, which is why I don't tend to do as much about bringing my own personal additional points in. But maybe one day we'll change that. We'll see. I'm remaking my rubric anyway. Someday. I have it drafted. But good work, Rodion. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Rodion. This is a good one. Rodion sweep. Glory to our queen. Good work, girly. Don't overwhelm the poor mushroom. I will say, these 3 streams have been definitely me working overtime against being a little bit overwhelmed, but I think I'm doing pretty well. I think I'm handling myself mostly effectively. I think I'm excelling with the task at hand, and I will say this is definitely the most complicated IP that we've talked about on stream. It's mostly done all right, I would say. Try not to say too much. You're good. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Let me save these so I can close them. Hang on, save as. Because right now I think my computer is also maybe a little mad at me. I think there's a lot going on right now. So if you'll give me 1 second. The director is also a VTuber. I know! People were all saying on the first VOD, they were like, why do you kind of look like a feminine version of the VTuber who is the director? Which I can see, we both have a black and white color palette, and we have a similar hairstyle, which is kind of funny. I'm his alter ego, maybe secretly. No, I couldn't be. Let's see, where is my folder that this is supposed to be in? Here. Glorious L director. Where is my folder? There we go. So this is I'm proud of myself that I'm remembering their names also. Dog versus shroom. Yeah, I am not a dog. I don't got that dog in me at all. I got that dog in me in the sense of like Kipper or even Clifford in that capacity. I'm just a cute little guy. I am not dog-like. Save as... Oh, what was this one called? I can't remember what this was called. This is Quixote. Oh wait, I have it right here. This is Red Sheets. I remembered one of their names at least. Contempt. Oh, is a good one to look at. Both of you also seem to like green highlighter. Really? Huh, maybe we're more alike than I thought. Is this Blind Obsession, Ishmael? I've misspelled Ishmael like 15 different ways. by just miscellaneously putting A and E in the wrong spots over and over and over again. This is Ahab. Bye-bye. Oh, me. Gnomes. Good. Queequeg. Wow, we actually looked at a lot of different things so far. I'm proud of us. We were very effective. There we go. So now this is Rodion. Hex Nail. Yippee! We were very focused for her too, and we got through her pretty quick. So, we have not looked at, there's a number of characters we haven't looked at. We do still have almost an hour. I'm proud of us. We've gotten through a bunch. I feel like usually I wouldn't get through that many. But, where do we go from here? I know that Ryoshu, we were talking about Contempt All, maybe? Was that the one? Contempt All, Ryoshu. I saw some people talking about... Who else was it? There were a couple other ones that were suggested. Mersault was also suggested. Mersault, I had Pursuance as the one that I had pulled for Mersault, maybe. Crushbound Assault? Contempt All. Crushbound... Past Mersault? Yearning Mersault. There's a couple different Mersaults. Thirst Director also exclusively reveals new things via PowerPoint. Almost seems like he's editing on the spot. That's funny. Honestly, good for him. If it works, it works. I also saw somebody say that I should critique the VTuber design of the director. I only critique VTuber designs of people who I have permission to do so from. So if you guys were like, hey, Mr. Director, could the Squiiji maybe look at your design and critique it? And he said yes, that would be fine. I could also bug him about it, but I would feel bad. I feel bad asking people to critique their designs. I usually tend to rather it's a situation where they feel like they need that and then they come to me maybe. I don't know. He's just chat off every time. Oh, so you guys can't ask him anyway. That's okay. I won't worry about it. But yeah, I only critique designs with consent from the artist and the VTuber themselves. So I don't want to... I won't do that unless I have permission. Usually chill with it. I'd rather be safe than sorry. With that one. So wait, just because I had Contempt All Ryoshu I already had on the list. We haven't looked at really any of hers yet. Maybe we'll go there next. But don't worry, we should get a Mersault one in at some point. Wait, Yearning Macaulay Mersault is what we focused on. Did we... What do you mean we focused on? Did we look at that one already? Is that what you mean? Give us permission to make him a meme for the community. But making him a meme and critiquing his design, I don't think are the same thing. For as much as I am being objective about things and offering as an opportunity for growth, I don't want to participate in unsolicited critique. That's very personal. Whereas this is like a business endeavor where I'm critiquing characters. It's not personal. Meanwhile, if I critique his design, that does make it personal. I don't want to do that to him. Don't gotta do it to him like that. Let's see. So Contempt. Contempt All Ryoshu. Whoa. Bright red. It feels familiar. Did I look at this for some reason or another? No, maybe not. Whoa, the corrosion form has good silhouette. Here you go, come here. Once again, I think your weapons are the only thing adding to your silhouette, unfortunately. What is this music? Stray pixel, go away. This would drive me nuts. They always have a stray pixel, and I don't know why. As in, what we wanted to look at after Rodion Hex Nail, you did, I think? Question mark? Also an ID. I wonder if I saw the ID previously, and that was what made me recognize it. Pixel might just be for aligning. It could be. It's just funny that it's... so many of them have a stray pixel in them. Grab the... Woo! The... corrosion. This has fantastic silhouette. Nope, not that. Hang on. This. The fact that I can't copy and paste things effectively is very strange today. There we go. Look how neat this is. She is reminding me of... What is the one Pokemon that has a really big crazy wingspan thing that happens to it. There we go. Oh wait, there's so much editing I have to do here actually. Hang on. Grab this, put this here, put this there. Turn this off so we can see these. Move you up here, maybe. Cool. Oh wait, I bet that pixel is for alignment, because it seems like it's in the exact same place on this sprite. Which is rather interesting. Huh. Sigilif? I don't know what it is called. This idea came out yesterday? Wait, did it really? Wait, it was on my suggestion list. A bunch of people suggested it. I bet that that was because it is just releasing now. That's so funny that, wait, no? ID is since the E.G.O. Oh, okay. The ID came out. The E.G.O was already out. I see. Okay. I've got these. Maybe give you a white outline because I feel like it might be easier to see with that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And then the creature, for lack of a better word, the abnormality is Spiral of Contempt. Ooh, okay. So her corroded form is more or less very one-to-one with this. There's another more humanoid one, and I feel similarly with this one that it's another slight missed opportunity situation as far as the way that she was made to be for her corroded form. But I do think that the way they're interpreting this here is kind of interesting. But I have something I'm gonna complain about. I'm gonna complain. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm permitted. I'm allowed. I can complain just a little bit as a treat. This thing has really good silhouette. Do we see all the interesting positive negative space here? I'm gonna put a white layer over it. Do we see how much positive and negative space there is in this creature? We've got this repeating, oscillating, I don't know if that's the word, hang on. We've got this repeating, almost like intertwined shape, maybe rather, where it's serpentining up the form. Big exaggerated gloves as a moment of rest. These are really, like, scraggly and uncomfortable feeling too. Squares tend to make us feel like something is reliable, but tilting them on an angle makes it feel like there's a little bit more edge to it. Yeah, jagged double helix, zigzagging. Yes, these are good words for it. Does have spiral in the name, that's true. But none of that strength is coming through in hers, and I'm so confused. There are so many places that they could have added this type of shape language to her, and they didn't. Her silhouette, it's not horrible. I appreciate that they gave her an asymmetrical collar, which is raised on one side. I appreciate that they gave her some, like, maybe, like, fabric that's hanging off of her belt area on the other side. She's got these gauntlets that look like they're a very one-to-one recreation of some of the body parts of this thing. She has some of these spindly gold, like, branch elements. Sorry, there's a harmonica being played in my apartment right now. Harmonica jump scare. But none of that is playing a part of it. Look at the ID, you'll like it more. I can look at the ID. We're supposed to be looking at EGOS. You said I can find it on the same page. Let's see. ID. What is the ID called? Oh, it's just called the same thing. The bloody sheath is eating the focus. It is, isn't it? She has the blood up around her face, which should help make her face focal, but this is where we're being drawn to because it's where the red is the most. Let's see, what does this one look like? Oh, okay, wait. So, I will say, I think this one, this is the ID version. This is very different. I fear that there is some in between because this is too much for me. The gold is sort of overwhelming and the level of detail is just a little bit too high. But it is closer, and I would say more faithful to the original creature. I think the ID is doing a much better job of reflecting the abnormality, but we don't need a lot of huge changes here. I fear the fact that there's no white and no gray, and the fact that the gold is kind of everywhere in here is adding a little bit of a clarity trouble. The color balance here, I would say, is stronger. But what was stopping them from in this here? Let me do my edits over top. What was stopping them from cutting this out. We don't have to have a perfect, clean edge happening there. We could have had these just kind of like do like a little thing where they're jumping off that bottom edge and connecting in, and this actually would probably be dark because we're seeing the inside of her clothes against it. But like that already is just doing a little bit more for silhouette, right? For her gauntlet, these areas could be raised up off of her hand. They don't have to be flush. There's just little things we could have done to incorporate more of the creature into the design. I don't know. Still those clothes from a clown. Yeah, this, I will say, is getting a little bit unserious in a way that is strange, potentially. Spiral demands your gaze and doesn't care how it gets that. Is this an Uzumaki-esque, we can't look away from the spirals demanding our attention, and it is some sort of corruption or uncanny element? No. Okay, never mind. That's not me cold reading, that's just me making guesses about spirals because people are saying things like that. The bling ID suits the story character, kind of. Opposite, in fact. Not corruption, but pretty close to not looking away. Aberration of burrowing heaven. Just gets mad at you and physically forces you to stare. Okay, enemy's design. Yes, I know that they share an enemy inspiration for an abnormality. I still think that there is some in between where I'm not sure either of these is working especially fantastically as an interpretation of this. I feel like we could have gone for something, hang on, like this, and had her wear a cool pauldron of some capacity that gets some of that helix nature to it, then adds to the silhouette. We could have had it breaking off the bottom edge of her, I guess this is technically a skirt, maybe? But there are things that could have been done to add to the silhouette. And then for the fact that these are really focal, did we need that much blood on it? Like that. We can tell it's bleeding. We can tell there's blood. But suddenly now it's not such a huge flat area of blood, and we could scatter the blood maybe a little higher on her head if it's like in her hair or something. And then if it's around her face, we've got the red elements appearing all the way around her face. That's focal. That's going to bring us in here as well. The gold that I used for her shoulder is probably just a little bit too bright right now because it's not shaded the way the rest of it is. So it would probably get like pushed back a little bit if it had like actual real shading happening on it. But looking at her face, why does the sheath of the sword have blood on the outside of it? If I remember correctly about this character, she doesn't unsheath her sword. It seemed like was that what it was? That she didn't unsheath her sword? Is she just using it as a blunt weapon? The bloodier the sword, it's a blade of pure blood. She kills with the sheath. Okay, so it does make sense for her, at least. That is like a character thing that she does. Still does slash damage, I think. Interesting. Different swords. Sheath is sharp. Interesting. Yeah, but and the blood could be more droppy. That's true. Gloop it up. Especially if the blood feels like really spindly and narrow. That will also play up to these really narrow areas on the abnormality. But do you see the difference in just those little edits that we get here? She feels a little bit cooler. She's a little more asymmetrical. She's got more asymmetrical balance happening. Silhouette is just stronger in general. The face is a little bit more focal. There's some edits to be made here, maybe. I would say that we didn't have to do a ton. It's not terrible. But I fear that there's a lot of missed opportunities here, unfortunately. I need the black and white of her outfit. To note, the ego's way of look at me is all the parts that don't look like that part of the abnormality. The way the sinners use ego is just a temporary manifestation of the source abnormality and not full gear. I mean, fair, but some of them feel much more like full gear. We just looked at Rodion, and hers was an entire outfit that is very well incorporating all of the elements of the abnormality. Meanwhile, this one just isn't, unfortunately. For some reason or another. And it's close, it's not that far off. But it just could be a little closer. I will say for this one, the color palette being black, white, a metal, and a color doesn't bug me, which is crazy. Usually this is my least favorite kind of color palette, but I think that the way that the colors are distributed is more effective here than I tend to see it, where there's good color blocking. A lot of the times I have critiques about this type of color palette because the white and the black and the gold are everywhere, whereas here, the gold, or not the gold, well, the gold also, but the white is isolated, the black elements are sort of isolated. It's not everything everywhere, so the color blocking is stronger. There's also a stronger hierarchy as a result, where there's mostly the color palette is black, secondarily white, tertiary gold, quaternary? Is that the next one? Red. So there's good hierarchy, which we usually don't see with this kind of color palette. I kind of screwed it up just a little bit by making this thing really big, and that's pushing the gold a little more forward. But for the color palette, I would say that's fine. Unfortunately, for complexity versus clarity, we are losing her hair into her jacket. I think she's wearing a jacket. I'm not really seeing the edges of that at all. The flat black might have been better used on the inside of her hair, or they could have just used a highlight color. If this is like a leather jacket of some capacity, she could have had just like a really strong edge highlight here and here that's giving us a little bit of texture, so then I can read her against the background. I've gone a little thick with it, but that does help with readability. So unfortunately, her clarity is not fantastic everywhere. I fear there's a couple of missed opportunities for concept where they're not fully incorporating the abnormality. For focal point, it really is the sword, but that's not really a part of her. So I won't take full points off, because I usually don't count the sword towards silhouette anyway. The silhouette is a missed opportunity. Any advice keep in mind for anyone working with a black, white, other color scheme? What I said, it's pay attention to your color hierarchy. What percentage of the design is each color? The reason why this one was working is because the black is probably about 60% of the design. The white is maybe about 20% of the design. The gold is like 10% or less, and the red is 10% or less. Often when I'm critiquing a design of this capacity that has this type of color palette, it's like, okay, 50% black, 50% the color. And then like 3% the accent color in white. Or it's 50% white, 50% black. There's just too even of splits between colors. There's not enough variety in the proportioning of the hierarchy, if that makes sense. Why is the color hierarchy important? Sorry for the silly question. It's not silly, don't worry. Although we did get skipped by an ad break, so if you can still hear me, I'll answer. But if you can't still hear me, do let me know, and I can answer when we return. Outfits are dependent on how the center views the abnormality, so this is how Ryoshu views it. Good example of how different egos can be the two sun showers. Okay. Ryoshu has fashioned the ego for her own. I see. Oh, I can still hear you? Okay, so the reason why hierarchy is important, it's important really in all elements of design. You don't want there to be too much repetition or for things to be equal in weight, whether it be in color choice, whether it be in the proportioning of different elements, because all of those things can make a character feel very generic or too stable. It feels too perfect. We like variety in design, sort of innately as people. We want variety. And we can tell without having to look too hard, and even without a lot of maybe artistic eye, we can note when something feels wrong. And we often note the most that something feels wrong when it's too perfect. And having colors, if we have 10% one color, 10% another color, 10% another color for 10 different colors, there's no dominating color. So therefore, there's no emphasis coming out of that, because we want a color that only appears in small places. That adds emphasis. So then, you know, we are more likely to just look at that one small spot. But if you have every color in all the same amount, then we don't get that emphasis from it. It's just we're missing opportunities. Imagine equal colors can polarize different parts. Yep, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, splitting attention. There's a number of reasons for it, but we want variety. We want contrast. So if things are too similar in their proportioning, whether it be in color or value or something else, it's going to feel a little bit too stagnant to us as viewers. Oh, we're singing again. No more. No singing. We're going to do warp malfunction instead. Anyways, finishing grading her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. Oh, girly. Rip. Not your best move for sure, but it's not horrible, at least. Wow, that's completely illegible. Hang on. Oops, there we go. And then if I move it like here. There, that's better. Not too bad. For an abnormality whose main gimmick is look at me, having the style makes sense. Having, yeah, a little bit more elements that are flashier probably will help. Crushbound pastime. Got another half an hour. So there have been some very strong feelings about Mersault. I'm Pursuance as the Mersault I was planning for us to look at, but we can ask. Somebody, Scarecrow of the Twitch chat is feeling very strongly about Merkala, Yearning Merkala. Pursuance is the best. Pursuance would be cool. Mersault, okay. Do we prefer Yearning or Pursuance? We're gonna take to a poll. I'm gonna take it to poll for fairness' sake, because it seems like there's interest in both. Please not misspell Mersault. M-E-U-R-S-A-U-L-T? Yeah. Mersault? Question mark? Our options are Pursuance, P-U-R-S-U-A-N-C-E, or, wow, Yearning. Those are the only ways that he comes, apparently. There we go. 2 minutes, go. Poll, so there's Twitch's poll. YouTube, we get you a poll too. Make sure to vote, if you'd be so kind. M-E-U-R-S-A-U-L-T, question mark. Hopefully I didn't make 13 different misspellings in the 4 words I've typed. Ooh, P-U-R-S-U-A-N-C-E. Man, these are words that I don't have to spell very often. Adamantus and Wrought Ironcraft, thank you guys for following. Don't worry, I'm typing the poll. I forgot to copy and paste. Now I have to type them manually. Yearning. There we go. YouTube, go. Sorry to leave you frothing at the mouth and waiting for the poll. It's Mr. Salt time. Voting pursuits can be more thematically because it's gonna be more thematically thematic. Great reading ability, Squiiji. You got this. Jumped over? Well, welcome over. Welcome in. Not that you weren't already here, but thank you for being here. Anyways. Yearning would have been the move for Dawn. For Mer, Crushbound or Pursuance? Crushbound past is better, but Yearning is great as well. Okay. We'll see. It seems like we're kind of split. It seems kind of split. Pursuance is... So, Yearning is winning on Twitch. Twitch fellas, make sure you vote, because there are currently almost 200 votes on YouTube. So if you guys don't get all your votes in, you're gonna be... You won't be able to overpower what's going on YouTube. Not that you want to overpower, but I'll try and total together what it is between both. Both are really good. Okay, we'll see. The race is surprisingly tight. 56 to 44% isn't crazy in difference. What if I also vote on YouTube? I mean, I can't stop you. Please be good, but don't. Original Starwalker. Are you guys coming over here? Are you guys coming over to the Twitch to vote? On Twitch also? Is that what's happening? Cows DM, thank you for following. So it did end. Poll did end. Pursuance, I believe, has won. Despite what it may look like on Twitch. It was 14 to 8 on Twitch. But on YouTube, I believe there's a distance of 40 votes. So I believe Pursuance has won in this capacity. So we will do Pursuance. I only have time for one for him, unfortunately. Voted for Yearning as an example of how the same ego can be different between two characters. Oh! Which, is that one of the... Is that based on the same abnormality that we looked at for another character? That's interesting. We can look at it, like, briefly, but I won't grade it. Just so I can see what it looks like. Dawn. Oh! Okay, well here, we'll just look at it real quick. Yearning. Can you hear me accidentally bonking my... beverage? I have a freezing cold hot chocolate right here because I forgot to put it on my hot plate. Wow, this is quite different. Whoa, totally different motifs. In every way, shape, and form. They made him a vampire! Oh, the silhouette is so good! Hang on, wait, this one's actually really cool. You want a sip? Sure, here, you want some? Slurp, slurp. Oops, hits my mic with it. There you go. Hopefully you can't hear me drinking. Just cold chocolate milk now? Kinda. It's unfortunate. We can't? Good, thank God. When I was checking through the ASMR recording that I had, the amount of mouth popping noise that I have that you can hear through it drove me crazy, Dio. And I was losing it. You wonder why we suggested this? Fair, I do trust you all. I know that you guys suggest things for reasons. I'll look at the other one. I'm not gonna grade this one, but we can at least note how crazy this silhouette is. Even if we didn't have the briars behind him, the coat, by being so tattered, is interesting for silhouette. The rose being worn across one side of his face. He's got the classic giant red jacket and a cravat. We are doing gnomes again, yeah. This is just a neat outfit design. I also have a bias, personally, for fellas in red jackets. I'm a little mad about fellas in red jackets right now, but it's good, yeah. Brain made you throw a Dio at the end of that? Henya is in my brain, and every once in a while, I have to say a Dio on the end of something because of her. Mo. Thank you for following. Good, interesting username to try and read. Ome Dio? Fair enough, Dio. Yeah, fair enough. I will take more sippies of my beverage. But then, no, this is a cool design for sure. And the corrupted one is just becoming more and more briary, attacking with the wings like they're made of vegetation. Is neat. Let me look at the one that we're looking at. If the one we're supposed to look at isn't as cool, I may have to override. I am a little bit of a dictator sometimes. I do run things around here. I am the head of state for the Shroom State. Dante also has this ego. Decently different from Mersault's version. Yeah! Wait, we didn't look at Don Quixote's version of it, though. T-core incoming. T on your core till, I'm not gonna finish that. I will T-pose here menacingly. I do kind of match with him also. He is Y-posing, but in a vertical sense. What was I looking for? Pursuance. P-U-R-S. Oh, there's a Pursuance Rodion, too. Rodia. Also a Swift Pursuing Stranger as a character. Oh, this is very different. Whoa. Okay, so this is based in, like, a seraphim of some kind. Some sort of angel. Wings as a motif for Mersault. Wings as a motif. This seems to be a common thing I'm seeing occur. Yearning Dawn, wasn't it? Wait, hang on, what? What are we saying? Oh, Mersault, what? Mersault and Rodion both have angel motifs. I'm wondering about the angel motif for Mersault. I'm trying to think if there's something that relates to that particularly in the literature? Wings are more Yi Sang's motif. I thought Yi Sang's motif was mirrors. I guess he can have two, but I know he did have wings in another place also. Though, thank you for following also. He's an atheist. Snapped at a pastor, I guess. Oh, yeah, Judgment Redemption, the priest. Yeah, so hang on. Ooh. I haven't read The Stranger. We had to recruit Jubby in here last week. Hi, Queequeg. We had to recruit my partner in here last week because I have not read The Stranger. So I was not familiar with it. Innocent as a sort of guilty. I see. Okay. Let's grab. Oh, what is happening? Why are your wings not here? Your crown, your laurels at least give you something for silhouette. The corrupted form is so much better for silhouette, though. The wings terminating in clawed hands. Ooh. The fact that his hands are floating is also interesting. He doesn't have a body. He's got more of a halo happening here. Once again, the corroded, pardon, have way stronger silhouettes every time. Why could we not just stand his collar up a little bit? Why couldn't we exaggerate this off the edge of his body a little bit? Exaggerate his sleeves a little bit more? Why is this flush to the edge of his arm? This could stand out more. I'm losing my mind. Like, this could be going like that. Like this. This is all I'm asking for. Is like things like that. Why does this not break the edge of his silhouette? Why does this not break the edge of his silhouette? Like that. That's all we need. Please, please. It's not a lot. It's not a huge change. But there's opportunities to have a strong silhouette here and it just doesn't. Old E.G.O, I guess. But, like, this is a strong silhouette still here, too, though. Too neat for that. But by doing that, it's not making him less neat. I know that he does prioritize being well-kept, but I don't think that those changes I made are making him less tidy or neat. It's supposed to be controlled. These things are still controlled. These aren't feeling less controlled, I wouldn't say. I would say that this is not feeling less controlled. You can still have exaggeration. The wings are there in the animation. Okay. Wings, the attack after he lands. Oh, I see. Yeah, for moving. Oh, wait, that's moving for corrosion. This gallery is awful. This gallery only has an image of his idol for his non-corroded version, unfortunately. Static sprite is hiding the wings. Okay. I'll believe you. Okay, I believe you. Jump in line, rock your body in time. No abnormality for this one yet. I believe there's a thing in the background of the art. Wait, so there's no abnormality for this one. It says Heavenly Executor Scribe. Oh, yeah, I guess it doesn't have a design. Not fightable. Interesting. So I can at least copy in. It seems like there's a drawing of it that's clear that we can see here. Where it does have these really big, billowing wings. I wonder if we could have interpreted wings into sleeves in some capacity. It could have been interesting. Crossbody, sash, eye as a giant motif. Man, the focal point of this character is unfortunate. Man, we do want to look someone right in the eyeballs, but with place to put an eye. Lithograph, my goat? Lithograph? Lithography? What do we say? Why are we talking about lithography? Is it because we've got writing on a stone? Why are we talking lithography? I'm a printmaker. You've set off my activation phrase, my secret phrase, my sleeper phrase. Lithography. Lithograph is its ego's gift. Is a lithograph? When you're saying it gives you a lithograph, what do you mean by that? A lithograph as in the stone? Oh, lithograph is the stone with the laws written in it. Lithograph is a buff you can get. Are you guys familiar with lithography? Do you know what lithography is? It's a printmaking technique. I think in its right hand. Oh, okay, I see. Is this a stone that's carved or a stack of papers? Very well could be either. Writing in stones, yes, an item. So lithograph is writing in stones if we're going to take it very directly, but lithography is a printmaking method that is used for application where we are using the sort of chemical properties of oil and water opposing each other to make the surface of stone either reject oil or accept oil. So we can print with those areas. So we use that for replication. A lot of publications used it historically. But I think this is using it more in the direct state of, you know, lithography is directly writing on stone. It's a very natural process. You can write in a very comparable way to how you would write with a pencil on a lithography stone. But I think this is going more directly for the fact that if we break it down to roots, it is just writing on stone, which is what this one is, which makes me a little sad. I was hoping there was a more direct printmaking reference in here, which would have been really cool, but that's okay. Give me a screen printing E.G.O for a character. Call me when they incorporate printmaking into their characters, or mushrooms maybe, and then we'll talk. Then we'll talk about me playing the game. Lithography is the technique to make chips? I have never heard that one before, ever. Lithograph on the Awakening's waist and the Corrosion's fists. Yeah, it's just words being written onto, I guess, stone in this capacity. Rip. Homework centipede? He is writing on his clothes? There's a giant worm made out of paperwork. Okay, but paperwork isn't the same. If they're screen prints or lithographs, then that's different, but it's... no, otherwise, no. They make the little prince E.G.O will let you know, which is a mushroom entity. Bet. Thank you, Amber, for keys. You're so right. So, for grading this design, once again, I am disappointed by the silhouette. The laurels are the only thing that makes it stand out in any capacity, unfortunately. He's pretty symmetrical, which does make sense for him as a character, especially a character that is replicating sort of an angelic nature. We do tend to Associate angels with being too perfect to a way or to a degree that makes them uncanny. But he just needs more things break in his frame. For color design, he is kind of interesting. The fact that they have given him this teal color in the palette is a nice touch. But, hey shroommates, where is the focal point for you? We've clustered all of the teal in one place. And it's so much more saturated than anything else. So it's making me look here or here, unfortunately, in the design. Primarily, yeah, the hips are focal. So that's not great. And even if we covered up those, if I just go like, cover them, just so we don't see them. The face is focal, because the hair is the darkest element now, but that's really the only thing making the face focal, because the gold is in similar amounts elsewhere. If we had more gold around the head could help, or it could help the head compete a little bit more for our attention, potentially. He is kind of doing the, you had to do it to impose, isn't he? The focal point would have been the wings he had. The wings he has in the animation will probably be much more focal if they're bigger, like this. But I will say, even here, the fists are still the focal point despite the wings being present, because the gold shows up in other places. And there's a lot of gold. There's only a little bit of the teal, which makes it unique. So it makes it focal. I don't know. Golden highlights at the edge of his fringe, maybe? Maybe. I was going to say that if we want to keep the teal, it needs to go somewhere else in the design. Keep the halo in normal body mode. Maybe. That would add more to the silhouette as well, potentially, which might be nice. He is sort of lacking that right now. But yeah, if this green was more distributed, it wouldn't be as distracting to me. For color palette, I do find myself a little bored here, once again. This is like one of those a color, a metal, black and white palettes, not completely, but that I don't feel works as well. Because the white, which I'm including his skin tone in because he's quite pale, is like 80% of the design. It's much more. The black is a much smaller amount. The gold is even smaller. They've like crushed the hierarchy a lot more. It just doesn't feel as visually interesting. We could have more variety in undertone, where the undertone of his hair is the same as the undertone of his legs. I get that we're going for perfection and order probably in some capacity, but it's missing something for me. It needs more variety. Thank you for a snack. I actually don't have a snack on me right now, but I will be eating in 20 minutes anyway, so it'll be okay. Maybe a bever made out of the lithograph stones? Oh, I don't know what that means. Honestly, if we just gave him the halo and made it this green, it would make his head focal. That's probably all we would need to do. If I turn this off. Let me just recreate it really quickly. Wow, that is such a neon color. Hang on, it's not connected in the center. I'm just redrawing it really quickly, but that's making us look higher up in the design, isn't it? His ego fits Mersault too well. The scribe performs the laws without thinking of who broke the laws. Mersault will definitely do anything unless ordered by Dante. Oh, you know what? We didn't talk about concept very much here either. We should talk concept just quickly, because I was sort of alluding some of the things I was feeling about it. Complexity versus clarity, I think it's okay. The words form a lot of really small details, but I feel like some of the medium details could use a little more exaggeration for clarity's sake, but it's not too bad. Now it just messes with the color's purpose. The color is given purpose by the people inside of that world. The creators very easily could have given the color a purpose that allows us to use it in more varied ways to make the character design stronger. Season 1 of the simplest times. Fair. Gabriel from Ultra Kill? I don't know what that means. I don't know who that is. So concept. Heavenly Executor Scribe makes a lot of interesting references to Christianism. Christianity, even. Obviously, but also Taoism. His whole thing is that he records the names of those who await judgment on behalf of the heavens, then he carries out those laws single-mindedly. Our message is more evident. Highlight. Yeah. Heathcliff's kind of meh. Gregor's... Huh? Ultra kill. So it looks weird to me now because he's no wings. Looks like a pencil. We have made him taller, which is a little bit strange maybe. But, oh, don't worry, I'll stretch over. Spinal compression. Make sure you're not shrimping. I wasn't, but make sure you aren't. So, as far as if I'm able to read these elements about him visually, he does look like somebody who is prioritizing order by the fact that, you know, the lines of his uniform are very trim and clean. He has writing all over him, so I'm going to guess that he is following some sort of ruling of some capacity. Words need to be very important in order for them to be something worthwhile to write on yourself. So knowing what they are would be important. I'm not sure from an outside perspective if I would understand that these things around his waist are lithographs. Right now they look like playing cards the way they've been executed. I fear that they need a little bit more of a side view so they have depth, because that would allow us to determine that they are three-dimensional objects and therefore stone. And if they wouldn't have gone for the borders around the stone, do you see there's like a border? It's making it hard to tell that there's like a texture on it that makes it look like writing. So like this could have been exaggerated more to clarify what these objects are, because right now they're not reading especially clearly. And then without his wings, I don't know if I would have guessed that there is an angelic angle happening here, but they're part of the animation, so he wouldn't be without them at least. And the fact that he has multiple wings, these halos even feel like wings in some capacity, where he might be seraphim in some way. But we're getting the religious angle, which then does make sense for him contextually in his literary reference because of judgment, because of his conversations with a priest. And we were talking about the fact that he does seem to carry things out without, like, he does follow the rules without thought for who it applies to. Is he lawful neutral as an alignment? Would that make sense? I feel like I would say he's lawful, because I don't know if lawful good makes sense. He's not following his own rules. Doesn't protest, just does. Offers no input unless asked. Okay. I feel like for an angel, that does make sense in that they are carrying out the bidding of the god, whoever it may be, without care for who is following it in some capacity. Like, nobody is exempt. So I think it would make sense also when summoned. D&D alignments don't make sense. It's hard. Why are we doing sunglasses right now? There's a lot of pink sunglasses in the chat that I don't understand. I'm gonna guess I triggered some brain rot capacity. Oh, is it the music? Okay, I was wondering if I said something. It's because I'm here. Oh, is there a particular person who has started it? I could believe that. Gonna diss the kitty stickers? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Very few of the sinners can be called good. I would imagine not. In their original literature, I would say that none of the characters are probably considered as having a good alignment, especially. Ishmael, kind of, maybe. Ishmael, I feel like, is the character who, in his source, didn't really do... He was just kind of there. While everything went down around him. Sinclair, maybe. Don Quixote, I feel like in the original source, is just a little out of his mind, unfortunately. But, yeah, he was a good man. Yi Sang... Okay, so maybe it's not as true. But anyways, I feel like we're getting a good idea of the concept, but there are just a couple of elements that could maybe read a little bit more clearly to make full sense of it. Maybe? Ishmael is arguably one of the evil ones here. That's funny, because Ishmael as a character in Moby Dick is just there. He's just kind of documenting what is happening around him. Yeah, he's just doing his best, so... It is interesting. Hong Luna's book is also mostly just a victim. Yeah, that is also true. Same with Yi Sang, though, isn't he? I feel like he was also. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 again? Rip. Nope, not this one. Not the best, my guy. Your silhouette is holding you back, I would say. Sinclair's clearly a victim. Interesting. It seems like there is an interesting split. Because same deal with, Gregor. The character he's based on is a victim. Did the character in Metamorphosis do anything to deserve being turned into a cockroach? I feel like he didn't. Yearning probably would have scored higher. I agree with you, it probably would have. I do agree with you on that. We have time to speed run. One more. No, he didn't. It just happened. See, that's so unfair. That's so cruel and unkind. Who got turned into a roach? Hoshi! You haven't read Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka yet, have you? I read it in 9th grade, so you may have not gotten there yet. No? Very strange read. Very intriguing. Very Kafka-esque, because it was written by the Kafka himself. It is... Yeah, Gregor Samsa is the character, and he does turn into a cockroach. He just wakes up one morning and is a cockroach. So, we did not look at an ego. We have 10 minutes left. We have Faust. We have Honglu, Heathcliff, Sinclair. Yes, those 4. Those are the 4 that we have not looked at any egos for. I'm going to poll you to pick which is our final sinner. Who will be the final contestant on EG's next top Limbus. Slash poll. What? Oh. Wrong slash. Laugh at me heartily, Twitch streammates. Pro streamer. I've only been doing this for a year. I totally know how things work. Definitely. Final sinner. And I need to not post this before I make my decision here. So it's gonna be Faust. Or before I copy and paste it. Faust. Honglu. Or wait, did we look at an ego of Honglu? I feel like we looked at a Honglu ego the first stream. Because we looked at Gregor then too. Heathcliff and Sinclair. There we go. Let me do copy paste. YouTube chat, I appreciate your patience. Soda Honglu? Nope, not a Q&A. Rather, can I have a poll, please, YouTube? Please, I'm begging you. Whap. Whap. There we go, hang on. Weaponizing the ability of copy paste. Heathcliff. Yep, there we go. And Sinclair. I see you guys saying soda. Whenever I see that, I always think of the meme. Have you guys seen it? The Obama soda meme. Jubby and I do that as a call and response sometimes. Just a meme. I see. Kind of waste a shrimp. Wait, I love shrimp though. I can look at that while we're waiting for a poll winner. I want to see a shrimp. I love shrimps. Jubby and I ate for dinner on Monday. Nothing but shrimp. We had a lot of shrimp in the freezer that was close to going bad. So we just put a lot of shrimp in. What is the shrimp one called? Soda? It's just called soda? If I type soda in... Oh wait, what? What is this? Wait, it really just is. No, not my little soda pop. I don't know the K-pop demon hunter business. Whoa, look at him! This is so unserious. Well, cheers! Ocean soda! Look at him! The silhouette of his hood is fantastic. Look at this prawn fella. This is so funny. Wrong one, that's Rio. Whoops, hang on, is that somebody else? No. Give me nope, shrimp is not the word. Give me soda. They have more than one shrimp character? Oh, whoops, I just clicked the wrong one. I love this. They're having so much fun. It looks like just dishing out shrimp and soda nonsense here. And these do look like functional outfits for being somebody who is working on a boat. Look at these nice shrimps in the background. This is so goofy. I love this. The color is making the upper half of the body focal. The shoes are a little bit distracting by being the only thing that's yellow. The silhouette of the shrimp element on top of the head is kind of interesting, but the rest of the body isn't fantastic. Animation is a magical girl transformation? Oh my god, here, wait. We'll continue waiting for Pole. It seems like Hong Lu and Faust are really close. I will look at the animation. Just really quick. I'll permit us a really quick animation look. What is this called? This is Hong Lu Soda? Okay. Wait. Hang on, I gotta put us here so you guys can see while I finish waiting for YouTube to be able to vote. Because on Twitch it was a tie. Twitch was a tie. It's peak, I fear. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. But you can. Kind of boatload. Oh, I don't like the squishy noises. Am I gonna see the animation here? Oh, we're looking through a porthole, nice. A little bit of breaking glass. Oh, wait, he's a magical girl transformation! I love this for him. The exaggeration of the giant net, fantastic. I'm so glad I looked at this. This has improved my day tenfold easily. Uh-oh. Oh no, he just becomes fully a shrimp! Oh, he's going through it. Oh, poor guy. That was pretty good, though. Oh wait, this is funny. This outs me for, the music I listen to in the background while I'm working on things. That's funny. If you see my recommended. Anyways, go back here. Here. Have music. So, Hong Lu did win the poll. What Hong Lu do we want? The Hong Lu that I had was Tears of the Tarnished Blood. Does that compete with this? We could just grade this one. Snake Eater cover peak. Oh, Cherry's Snake Eater cover is really good and you should listen to it. It's really good. Tears? Oh, I see lots of caps about Tears. Also Dimension Shredder. Okay. Everyone's very excited about Tears. Wait, did I see this one? No, I didn't. I did not see this one. Something tells me the silhouette is gonna go real hard for this one. Here we go. Paste him right in here. Tears doesn't have an abnormality, sadly. Okay. But it does have an abnormality. There's just an illustration for it. It's not a sprite, maybe. Whoa! Woo-hoo-hoo! Look at that silhouette! Ah, that's what I'm talking about! Hang on! Finally, my man got some asymmetry. Look at him! There we go. The color palette is something, though. Whoa. Let's shrink you down. You're a little too big right now. There we go. That's better. No combat sprite. That's okay! Oh my gosh, the corrupted version also is crazy. I might give a little bit of, like, a slight, like, gore warning, maybe? I don't know if it is actually gore, but it seems like it might be, potentially. You should see the animation. More Hong Lu animations! The Shroommates demand! This is crazy for silhouette. Fantastic. Hang on, put you up there. Hide this for now. Oops, go away, shrimp people. There's not really a good way of placing them. Let me get a background color. Wee, whap, boop, whap. Beautiful. And then let me just see what the abnormality looks like, which is Yinglong. Yinglong? Oh, it is really hard to see, but it seems like some hellish astral creature of some capacity? I don't know how to define this creature. It seems like it may be otherworldly. It's a dragon. Okay. Oh, I guess actually I could have taken that from this one. I'm gonna guess that this is probably going to be pretty close to what this looks like in theory. I see the limbs. I feel like we're looking up at the underside of its body? It's a little hard to tell. Kind of godly conceptual entity. Yeah, it does seem sort of godly. Wounded dragon. That'll make sense. I'm gonna hide this first. Silhouette! Yeah! Let's go! Finally! So they've incorporated the silhouette not just into the fact that they gave him a really big asymmetrical hair element. He's wearing big earrings of some sort too that might be jade. I'm not sure. Really big sash. I feel like this is a reference to traditional wear, where they tend to wear a scarf that circles around the body. Usually it's not this high above the head, but if we're going for something sort of otherworldly in nature, we can make it float this high to add to the silhouette in an interesting manner. We've got these really low wings that add to the silhouette, which they positioned specifically, intentionally, to add to silhouette. But then also his sleeves, or maybe these are his fingers, are really long and spindly. Look at this silhouette. Just, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We can recognize this fella anywhere. Anywhere we can recognize this fella. The difference between this as something that is deity adjacent versus this is so stark. Where I get that this fella is more about order at some capacity, but we could add a little more. It makes me yearn. It makes me want other things for him. I want more. I want better for him. But this is full points. Completely, totally, in all ways. Full points for silhouette. No question. Also, the E.G.O kills Hong Lu if used with any ID that isn't Lord of Hongyeon? Really? That is an interesting limitation. Is there a reason for that? For color palette, I feel like that is the weakest thing going on here. The red doesn't vary in its undertone, like at all, which makes it feel very one note. I wish that it was becoming warmer and cooler in some places. That would make it much stronger. It's a sacrifice E.G.O. Something immortality. Okay, so we're avoiding going for spoilers. That's fine. I appreciate it. You are welcome to spoil things for me. I don't care. As long as it's not something that came out in the game that's a spoiler to people who maybe have... As long as it didn't come out in the last, like, couple of months, maybe, I am okay with you giving spoilers for things. It is okay. Check the animation. It'll clear things up. Question mark. It's like a month old. Oh, okay. In that case, then maybe don't. In that case, do not. Accepting punishment in the form of death. Ah, okay, I see. Mad new, all things considered. Animation is gory. Oh, if the animation is gory, we probably shouldn't attempt YouTube. Color palette. You're missing some undertone variety. And your color hierarchy, the split between proportioning of white and red is close to 50-50. It feels almost like this is like 40% white, 50% red. I might have to adjust those because of the hair, but we could have had a little bit more of the jade come through because the jade was a part of the eyes, if I remember correctly here, or at least one of the eyes, which is important to him. I know he doesn't like it, maybe, but it would be nice to have another accent color. Having more variety in the undertone might be nice as well. To help visualize it, oh, just for an idea, he stabs himself in the chest with an enormous spear, and then when he dies, uses it like an orbital strike? Golly, okay. Giant blood spike driven into Honglu's chest. Interesting. Intriguing. Alright, I see. Impalement. Okay. The jade is his hair ties, maybe? I don't know what you're talking about. Complexity versus clarity. There's a good level of detail here. I will say there might be just a little bit too much in that it feels a little bit overwhelming, but it is still doing something similar to what we were saying about Don Quixote's outfit by being so high detail, the face becomes a moment of rest, and the black hair being the only place that any color that is more than 50% gray is located in this whole design, and it being right around the face framing it, does make the face pretty nice and focal, so I can at least go here first. It is already a chibi. So somebody asked what the plushification test is, or what the plushie test is. The plushie test is sort of the way that we determine whether or not a character has an appropriate level of detail, or has enough exaggeration in what detail it does have that it'd be recognizable if we made it into a cute little marketable plush. So essentially it's just a test to see if the details that make up a character and make them recognizable are medium or large scale details, because a lot of character designs have a fault in that the really important details end up being really small. So if you were to pare them down into a chibi, you would lose those small details because there's just not enough space for them. This game, thankfully, by the fact that it has these sort of more chibi 4 to 5 heads tall illustrations, is already thinking about simplification, so I haven't really talked about it a ton here. Yeah, can you make it a chibi without removing too much detail? Yeah. So, for this one, he is already chibi, and it's okay. And if we were to remove a lot of the details, it'd just be the patterns going away. And that'd be fine. It would be alright. For concept and motifs, this is where I need to work on a cold read real quick. Because you guys told me that it's a dragon, you guys told me that there's impalement happening. I get that there is something about the way that they have shaped these rounded sections that feels almost intestinal. It feels gory. Despite the fact that these are also making almost the shapes of broken hearts. So I'm trying to figure out in my head what angle I might apply to that combination of details, where he's a dragon, but it seems like he is maybe incapable of flying because there's no webbing between them. Yes, they do also look like scales, that's true. It feels very fleshy. A broken heart would be apt. Oh, okay, interesting. Intriguing. We've hit a snag. Oh, have we gotten something accurately here? Also, maybe eats you in a corrosion as a dragon before impaling his stomach several times. Okay, so the fact that these are intestinal in nature might also be intentional in that capacity. Corrosion's massive. Okay. It isn't flagged on YouTube, so I think you can see the animation. Okay. Interesting. Might be like flower petals. I could see that also, maybe. All we know is the ego. Okay. Considering his literature origins, him being able to fly is accurate. I also am not as familiar with his literature origin, but him being able to fly, if that makes sense for that, is something interesting to note then. That does play off his concept well, maybe. Eastern dragons are seen as divine. I mean, I would say most dragons are seen as divine. I would still say that despite the fact that Western dragons are seen as something terrible, and usually evil in capacity, they are still seen as being like higher beings. Chinese dragons don't have wings. Yeah, I guess they don't. People wouldn't be too familiar with 2,500 page Chinese novel. Wow! Thank you for throwing me. Okay, I see. Importantly, no encounter nor sprite for this art. Only ego stuff. Are you looking at right now? It's a crop version of the ego's background. Yeah, oh, that is what that is. Okay, I see. It's a big one. Aren't the dragons in the Bible literally fighting angels? Which would make them divine, just make them not on the side that the believers are on, maybe. Yeah, potentially. But conceptually, is there something specific here that I'm missing, maybe? Have I mentioned all the important angles here, maybe in the design? Potentially? I'll put a comparing designs of the egos shared between characters. I would be, but this is our final fellow for today, potentially. The eye. The eye? Oh, I know about the eye situation. It's kind of obscured here. I know about the eye situation from looking at him before, where he has one jade eye. It's really hard to see it. That's what I mean when I say that you can't have things that are really important to a character be in the smallest details, because if you didn't tell me that this was a jade green eye, I would never notice. Even the fact that there's blood around it does help bring some attention to it, but I wouldn't notice otherwise. Also, hello! Welcome in, Raiders! Hi, Panda Rosemary! Welcome in, Panda Bears! How are you, fellas? I'm Squiiji, freelance artist fungi, art educator, and we are wrapping up looking at the character designs of some Limbus Company EGOs here today. We are looking at Hong Lu right now, and he is suffering just a little bit. Can we rotate at the Raiders, please? I feel like we haven't rotated enough today, which might just be the fact that I don't call for it. Sometimes I need to make some calls for rotation. Face is close in the animation. Missing horn is also a thing. Oh, I guess the horn missing on that side might allude to the fact that he has something going on this side of his body, maybe. I think that's blood. I think the jade eye face around is turning draconic. Oh, it could be also, but once again, at this scale, it is very hard to tell what is happening. Hate to raid and run, but I gotta go to Din Din. That's okay! Enjoy your Din Din! Thank you for stopping by and dropping your fellas off. If your fellas need to do things like eating or drinking or snark me-me-meing, please take care of yourselves also. But thank you for stopping in. Lo Bunas, thank you for following also. Almost looks like an eye patch. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Didn't notice the jade eye till I saw the fan art. And it seems pretty important to him, unfortunately. I don't want to take points off for that here because that's not really... Actually, maybe I have to. Because that seems like it is important to him as a character. And it's very hard to tell. When you zoomed in, I could see the outline of scales around it. Okay. Is that what that is? That might be outlines of scales. I believe you. Such a heartbroken moment. Very heartbreaking. Let's see. Concept. So, the fact that he is eating people and has some sort of intestinal motif, I think makes sense. The broken heart, you guys said that relates to his literature, mayhaps. The jade eye relates to his literature. The fact that there's other little jade elements do too. Hard to break? Some kind of VFX more often. They do only sometimes. Ah, okay. Jade from the eye became the jade rings on the horn. Okay. Interesting. You're wrong? What are you guys saying? There's things happening that I don't understand. It must be brain rot again. Maybe. Did I miss anything important in concept? Burden of life and death. I think animations. Okay. Bring it out again? No? Okay. I think we got most of it. We saw a lot of the overlap that was happening. So I'd say this works. What is the grade here? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8.5 out of 10? Not bad. We're ending on a more positive note than we were in for the more recent one. Yippee! Good work, man! Round of applause for all the Limbus Company characters that we looked at. But that'll probably do it for me for characters we're looking at today. We went over by 10 minutes. So I have to go eat and drink and do the taking care of myselfing. But we will come back for Limbus Company again in the future someday. We'll be back. It might take a little while. Something like 6 months, I think, is what it is. But we will do a tier list of theoretically, maybe, all of the IDs or egos. I don't think we'll do both. We tend to do a tier list of all the characters in a series at some point. So we'll get there eventually someday, but not today. But thank you guys for coming here today and hanging out with me. We went through a lot of characters and I'm proud of us. We were very focused despite also grading gnomes and falling to brain rot a couple of times. If you would like to follow me to where I was going to send everyone, I was going to send us to, if it works, let's see if it'll let me raid myself. I finished an ASMR video that I had made, and I can maybe send us there for the YouTube stream. Let's see if it'll work. Can I redirect to myself? Will it let me have, or not myself, just second Squiiji? Let's find out. No, I can't. Redirect privileges needed. Ask second Squiiji to add you to their live redirect list in community settings. I am in the live redirect settings. I'm also the owner of that channel. YouTube is always betraying me. So, cruelties that they are. I was not going to raid out today on Twitch either. I was just going to give everyone the link for that if they want to go see it, because I worked very hard on it and I would like you to see it, maybe. So I will just open it and find the link and I guess give us the link so you guys can follow it if you want, if you would like to. I'm suffering just a little bit. I can't believe they do this to me. Come to second Squiiji. There we go. Let's go. Oh wait, hang on. If I go like this, I think it actually gives you second Squiiji. Is that what YouTube leads to? Yes. Here. If you would like to hear me talk about a really eldritch, creepy plant that honestly would fit in quite well with the likes of this fella and some of the other plant-like fellas we looked at, like the one Gregor one, you can come over to the second channel that I was trying to raid but was incapable of raiding, if you would like. If you so wish. You don't have to, but you can if you'd like. I think it's premiering in like 5 minutes, so it should be up quite shortly. Let's see. Upcoming premieres. Yeah. I see a couple of you there already. But thank you guys for joining me here today. Tomorrow, also I should note, tomorrow we are going to be looking at the community challenges. Wait, in 24 hours? It should not be 24 hours. It should just be today. It should be... Why does it say that? It's wrong! No! Hang on, wait. Everything is wrong. Here, wait, I can fix it live. I can fix it right now. It's supposed to just post today. What happened? Everything got goofy. Let's see. I'll switch it. You guys get an extra minute of EG while I try and switch it. Golly. Nothing works. At least it passed the copyright this time, because it did not previously. Let's see, full screen this. Let's see, will it let me edit the details to make it go live? Yeah, Premiere? Should be today. Thanks. Save. Now it should be. Now it should be right. Refresh it! And maybe it'll work. Should we send raid message in second Squiiji? I don't think you can. I don't think we can send those emotes, but we can send something in it. If we send the exclamation from the regular one. This one. I think we can send. No. Oh, wait, that's not gonna work either. This one. Yeah, Amber's got it. Raid 1 we can send if you want to. So goofy. So goofy. Let's see. Not worth it. Got soda animation. We did get soda animation at least. Let's see. Let me just try one more time to see if I can force it to let me redirect to it if I come here. Let's find out. I see a couple of you showing up in the chat for that one. Let's check. Let's see. The way this should work is that I should just be able to go into settings and go to community moderation, I believe is where it is. No, is it user management? Yeah. Allow live redirect users. All channels can redirect to my content. Save. So now it should let me. Theoretically, maybe. But will it really? Live tech support. You can watch me struggle just a little bit here at the end. Look behind the curtain and watch how things work. Let's see. I think it might just be that my YouTube main Squiiji is just broken forever and can't redirect to anything. I don't think I've ever... Yeah, no, I still can't. I think it's just second Squiiji, or just main Squiiji is broken and can't redirect. So, I guess, YouTube, this is where I say goodbye. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you want to go watch my ASMR video about strange plants and a dude who really wants to defy his fate, you can. But if not, thank you for stopping by. Maybe see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're looking at the challenge designs for characters who were redesigned. They were once 0 out of 10 designs, but we have redesigned them to be 10 out of 10 designs. Intentionally, hopefully, maybe, probably. I hope. We'll see, we'll find out. I made 2, a couple other fellows made some. We'll take a look at those, and if we have time left over, we'll do some drawing, or maybe looking around on the Discord server some. But thank you for being here. Bye! Bye, YouTube chat! Mwah.